Good morning. Oh, everybody's probably saying, yeah, screw you, lady.
Oh, I remember now. I sold a teddy for $7, and I sold a pair of Foster Grant sunglasses.
Nice. Very good.
So
good morning, everyone. I'm bringing up the chat. Let's see who was first. Who was first?
Me.
Margot. Margot was first. Good morning, Philip. Hope everybody's having a good morning. Happy hump day.
Your thumbnail.
That's awesome. That's what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. That's cool.
I got the Detroit on today. Representing.
What are you representing? Like staying warm or
Detroit? Detroit.
Yeah. Peace out. I don't know. Good morning, Tracy. It's kind of one of those days, I guess. It's kind of a crazy day. It's hump day, so it should be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling Sally I was a bad girl yesterday. Yes, let your imaginations go wild. No, I'm kidding. Let's not do that.
Let's backtrack there.
I recant that saying or whatever. But I was a bad girl. I went to a thrift store yesterday before I went grocery shopping. So I found some good stuff.
Thrift shopping is more important than grocery shopping.
Oh yeah. Who needs to eat?
Yeah.
But no, I had a lot of little, I had to go get groceries and I had to and I don't get groceries very often, usually about every 2 to 3 weeks. So it's not like something that I do a lot. My God, Trixie, you're just showing the goods here.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking to my mannequin. I was like, dang, I looked at her and she's just like showing it all off. Okay, that's good. But yeah, I went to the thrift store, and what I usually do is it's a kind of a, what is the name of it? Give it new life. So it's just a, little nonprofit place, and they have a lot of Faded Glory and a lot of White Stag and all that, but there's some good stuff in there too. Sally was asking me what that was, and I told her I really couldn't tell her, but I should have done a haul. Oh, Tracy's on her way to Detroit. I'll be listening on the way, going to pick up some on-call concert tickets, a plane ticket for leisure trip with my big sister to Texas and to the Greenfield flea market. Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does.
Jim said big Goodwill haul today, taking stuff to, not from. Yeah, I've probably got about 20 bags or so of stuff. Good morning, Diana. But good morning, Sherry.
Morning, guys.
Can you all hear the mices? Can you hear the mices?
Oh, I didn't hear them.
Okay.
Are you hearing them?
Yeah.
Oh.
It sounds like they're chewing up the lines.
Maybe they'll fix something while they're in there.
Maybe. Maybe.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning, Nikki. So yeah, I did that. Went and got groceries. Yeah, they did just little errands that I got to run. So, but
That's good. Got all that out of the way.
I got it done. So I probably won't go anywhere. More than likely, I probably won't go anywhere until next week.
Tomorrow starts Memorial Day weekend.
Ooh, yeah.
We're having yard sale.
You're having a yard sale tomorrow?
Tomorrow through Monday.
Ooh.
And then I might be out yard selling. Not tomorrow, but probably Friday and Saturday. I might go yard selling.
Yeah.
Just to see if I can pick up some cheap stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Cheap inventory.
Truthfully, yeah, I might have to go do some yard selling this weekend too.
This is the biggest.
Yeah. So I might have lied. I might have told a lie there.
But I mean, there's yard sales all summer here, and usually at least, you know, in the paper alone, there's usually about 10, if not 20, 30, 40, somewhere around there, on a random weekend. But this weekend, there's probably going to be at least 100 in the paper.
Oh my gosh.
For our area.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put mine in the paper because there will be enough
enough traffic and people coming around.
And I'll put some signs out, but I'm not gonna put mine in the paper.
Yep. Silverhair Stacker says, "Good morning, powerful producers of profits." And Tracy says, "I'm going to start writing these down, Silverhair."
Somebody needs to.
Pretty good ones.
I'm sitting here stuck by this train, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 more cars that he needs to go forward with, and he stopped.
Oh.
Wow.
Like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Gotta love trains.
I know. I don't understand. I mean, I understand the honking of, you know, the horn and everything, you know, letting people know that you're coming around. But these people, I mean, these guys go crazy. They must do that just to stay awake. Because then in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, they just let it rip.
Wow.
Well, that's this one by my storage shed. You guys have heard it. I mean, it's crazy. Now he's backing up.
Oh my God. maybe he's training. Maybe he's trying to do a parallel park.
He's trying to do something.
Oh my gosh.
Tiffany wants to know where we're from.
Well,
it's Minnesota.
Okay. I'm from California, born and raised.
I'm from California too. Me and Val are her sisters.
Yeah, we're sisters.
Wisconsin now, though. It's only a hop, skip, and a jump from Duluth.
Sally is my older sister, and
Screw you.
and I live in Kansas. I moved here 8 years ago. And Sally, where do you live?
Right now, I live in Michigan. I moved here like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years ago, something like that. And this is where my husband's family lives. But we're from California. Or I'm from California. My husband's
Now you're
from
a
here.
Michigander.
Well, my husband was born in California. But his mom and his dad split up, and she moved back here to Michigan, and he's from North Carolina area, but he was in the military at that time. So, but my husband actually was born with his sister because he's twin. So he was born in California at the base.
So do we call her Naked Woman or what?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Okay, this dude, okay, I gotta tell you this. This dude backed up his train until he was 4 cars from the engine, stopped, and now he's going forward again. And he's not hooking up any cars. That's the thing.
Oh my God. That is insane.
God, I'm frustrated.
You sound like it.
I used to hate this when I was like driving for FedEx locally, and they'd send me over to Superior, and I would have certain businesses, and I'd have to go. And there's train tracks all over Superior, and yeah, I had to wait for the train all the time. I used to get so dang frustrated. Because by the time you go around and go over the viaduct, you know, the train's probably already done, you know. So you hate to do that. But
Yep.
Yeah.
oh my God, now he stopped. Stopped again. Sorry.
I never had a problem with, you know, like Mike, he would always like try to go around, you know, and find different ways to avoid having to stop at the train. I don't have a problem with it. It kind of gives me a chance to sit there and, you know, look at my phone. I just kind of, you know, deal with it. But he was and he threw a fit if he got stuck at a track. Oh my gosh, he was mad.
And usually I don't mind, but I want to go over to my storage shed, and I'm kind of antsy to get over there. So, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see Nikki.
Get with it.
What?
Everybody wants to see what you're talking about.
Yeah, now he's backing up again. Now he'll probably stop. Here he's backing up again. Now he'll probably go back because he can't keep us here too long. I don't think. But
he may just be on a power trip right now.
oh, now he's gonna go. Now he's gonna go so we can go across. Looks like.
No, he's gonna go so that ambulance can go across.
Hopefully he goes far enough so the lights go off.
Yeah.
Go across if lights are going. There it goes. Finally. Sorry guys, you didn't see much, but he did this about like 4 times though.
I've lived in a lot of different states. I've lived in California, Oregon, Washington, Oklahoma, and Michigan.
Oklahoma.
where you take nothing with you. That sounds like a vacation.
It's just, yeah, you just pick up and leave. Vanish
Hopefully you're
like a
taking
fart
your
in the, there you go.
hope-
Vanish like a fart in the wind.
hopefully you're taking your redheaded wife with you.
Yep. Yeah, I'm considering moving. I'm definitely going south, but I'm definitely considering, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia.
Michigan.
Nope, that's north. I ain't going north. Alabama. Those states are all a possible. No, I'm my dad was the mailman, and her dad was the milkman. So just kidding.
That we know of. We both don't claim our dad, really, but we're just kidding.
I can't do anything in my
Don't
storage shed
don't
anyways.
move
I forgot my cardboard. Sorry, out.
don't move to Alabama, Tiffany.
Sounds like everybody else's.
I know.
She just doesn't want us taking all her honey holes. That's all
Well,
it
there you
is.
go. Yeah, that's probably it.
Stingy people.
Yeah. But, I've got a lot of um, options, so it'll probably be another year or so before I do anything. So, I got a lot of time to think about it. And then probably for the first year, I'm going to be traveling anyway. So there ain't nothing in Kansas either. I can tell you that.
Ain't nothing here either except a bunch of damn trees and deer.
Yeah.
And deer and trees.
But you know what? I like living in a small town, where there's not a lot of traffic, or there's not a lot of action. You know, I enjoy that. Yes, I have to drive wherever if I'm going to go anywhere, but that's just part of it.
Yeah. I actually kind of like how it is here, like how it's busy during the summer, but it's very slow during the winter. But the snow is just too much for me anymore. I just
Yeah.
get so cold. I mean, right now it's like 60 degrees outside, but and it's not freezing in here, but I'm still cold.
It's like
I still
49
always
here
have
right now.
it's how much?
I think she said 49.
49?
49.
Yeah. Well, this morning it was 51, so I'm assuming that it's warmer than it was.
Yeah.
Because, the sun doesn't like to come out too much here and play.
It's
It
true.
likes to stay hidden away under Mr. Clouds.
Yeah, that wouldn't work for me. I have to have sunshine. I have to have sunshine. So I am really considering South Carolina.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm really considering that. Greenville, probably. I've done a little bit of
Tracy,
research on it and stuff. So
you don't live where I live, girl. So you could talk about your area of Michigan, but up here in the north, girl, I feel like it's extreme anyways.
Yeah.
You have extreme humidity in the summertime, but it's nice sometimes. Sometimes it's not too bad. And it's beautiful, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Michigan's like the most prettiest state I've lived in, and I lived in Oregon, Washington too, and they're very pretty states as well, but Michigan is a whole lot better than them. And then um but you got to drink your vitamin D milk to stay sane, or else, because you don't get that vitamin D from the sun, that's for sure.
Right.
The other Jason says, I have lots of family in Michigan and Wisconsin, and every time we would visit growing up and then drive back to Georgia, my parents would say, why the heck are they still living up there?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just,
I don't feel like you should live anywhere that you don't, that's not comfortable for you. I feel like if, that there's enough places in this country that you can live and be comfortable,
right.
like people that like it hot can move to Arizona and, Las Vegas, and, they can live in those states. And then North Mexico, North Mexico, New Mexico, not North Mexico, because that's not a state.
Not yet. Isn't that California?
No, that's South Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then you have the northern states, which are colder, the southern states, which are warmer. So you
Right.
can basically live anywhere where the temperature is
And
comfortable
you
for
know,
you.
you can't really pick states that, or areas that have like, natural disasters, because I tell you what, they happen all over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have tornadoes in California. They have earthquakes in California. Yes, Kansas,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, we get a lot of severe weather. We get, tornadoes every once in a while. I've been here 8 years and I ain't never seen a tornado. But doesn't mean that I won't. Um, you know, you live on the East Coast, you're going to probably, experience a hurricane. You just kind of have to, earthquakes don't bother me. Tornadoes, as long as they don't come near me, I'm fine. They don't bother me. Um, but you yeah, you can't pick a place just because of the
Yeah.
disasters and stuff that could happen. You know, if that was the case, you'd probably just live underground. So
Yeah. I mean, and that's the reason why I want to do the traveling thing, because I like to move around, I've always been like that. And so that's a goal of mine, is to become a, you know, traveling eBayer.
right.
So I could travel around and go visit people. And
So you're a gypsy.
yeah, I want to be anyways. I'm a wannabe gypsy.
Oh, let's see.
Scorpion season. No, thank
Yeah,
you.
that would be kind of scary.
Hmm.
I bet, like you said, I mean, they're harmless as long as you don't get near them. Yeah, you just stay away from them. Oh, look, there's a scorpion. Let me hold it for, you're going to get stung. So you don't do that.
Yeah, I like to be able to stick my hand in a box and know I'm not going to bring out a nub. or
You sound
I'm
like a
gonna get bit
robot.
and have to have it cut off or something. Uh,
You're real glitchy. Sorry. The other
Uh,
Jason says, I lived in Georgia during the 96 Olympics, and the local news ran a story on how the local call center kept referring people living in New Mexico to the internal call center for tickets. So funny. It's crazy.
anyways, I was
The
saying I
rednecks
like to.
kept. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I like to be able to stick my hand in a box and not have to worry about pulling back a nub,
yeah,
digging through a box, and don't have to worry about getting bit by something, or I'm gonna have to go in and have surgery to have it removed or something,
right.
or be on a course of like a bazillion antibiotics and still end up having my hand cut off.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Because they're like, the scorpions aren't going to bother you unless you walk near them. Well, how do you know if you're walking near them? What if you're digging through a box or your closet or something, and bam, there's a scorpion. I'm going to sting you.
Right.
Or if you're sleeping, it crawls in your bed with you or something. Oh my god, I'd shit. Probably shit my
Shit
bed.
the bed. You shit the bed.
I would. I imagine I would.
My goodness.
And there we go down the drain, slowly spiraling.
Oh my God. You said that. And I was watching, because I usually turn, it sounds crazy, but I turn cartoons on the
Mhm.
TV for the dogs,
I
just to
love
have
cartoons.
that sound or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And as she was saying that, there was this, I think it was a lemur. It was like Madagascar or something. And there was this
Uh-huh.
lemur, and he was in an outhouse, and he hid in the toilet. And he would, and so this other lemur would go into the outhouse, and he would like backwards flush. So he would come up and he would just swirl up. And then when he was done, he would go back down. And so
Oh
I was,
jeez.
yeah, I just thought about that when you said that. I was like, oh my God.
I was telling Jonah about our Aunt Norma that fell in. Remember Mom saying something about that when we
Oh
were
my god.
kids?
Yeah.
Because she was so little,
Yeah.
and she went out to the outhouse when she was like 1 or 2 or something by herself and fell in.
That'd be terrible.
I
That would
know.
be horrible.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I heard on the radio this lady in Australia, a little person, had fallen in the toilet. Can you imagine looking down the hole of the toilet? Because I always check before I sit down, and especially in an outhouse, and looking down and seeing somebody looking up at you, help, help,
Oh
let
my
me out, you know?
god.
What the hell?
That would be
Could you
awful.
imagine? Or not seeing the person, or not, well, I imagine you'd hear them, but
Stop your shitting on me.
I'm not into golden showers.
Here we go again. Slowly
Where's
spiraling.
Jason when we need him?
I know. I miss you, Jason. Where you at?
You'd be having so much fun right
Make
now with this conversation.
commentary.
He's probably rolling on the floor. He's probably falling in his chair. Oh my gosh.
He's probably thinking, yep, those ladies blame me all the time.
Mm.
So Tim says now he has a question. One thing I don't hear anyone discuss: who buys clothes for resale? Um, let's see. Do you all check for bed bugs? Some
Yeah.
areas are worse than others.
Oh my God.
You know, at first I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, that could be a problem. You know, that could definitely be a problem. but I'm not. I mean, once again, I've
Mhm.
not I've not had that issue. Thank
I
goodness.
haven't either.
So
I've thought about it. I mean, there's been times where I found well, there was that one time I found some when I was doing spring cleanup. Now normally I don't take anything like that, like clothes or furniture or anything like that during spring cleanup out of the garbage piles. But this time, this one lady, I had saw her put the stuff out. It was all folded neatly in bags, and everything was set out really nice. And she had a cleaner looking house. She was really clean looking. So I grabbed a couple. There was a couple garbage bags of clothes, and they were all like Nike and Adidas and stuff like that. And I did put them in my storage shed for a couple days just to be on the safe side. And then I gave them to my niece who found lots of kids who needed them. So, but I did put them in my storage shed for like a week,
yeah,
just in case there was anything in them. It could.
Yeah, I've been really lucky and not have had a problem at all.
I've thought of it though. I mean, because like one time I went to an auction, and the auctioneer's girlfriend, she's dead now, but she used to do the money. And she told me, no, when you take this stuff, make sure you put it in a storage shed or something. Don't put it in your house. She said, because there was a lot of rat shit in there. Like, oh, lovely,
good, good to
which,
know.
Yeah.
yeah, which most of the stuff I bought wasn't like porous or anything like that. There was a few things of fabric or something in there, and I just threw that out. But yeah, everything had
Right.
to be washed before it went to my house because
Yeah,
I didn't want no rat shit in my house.
don't blame you there. And that's a thing. Like Sherry says, I'm always worried about cockroaches. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I think about
but
that too.
I think like I don't buy anything that's like in a box. If I buy anything like that, it's going to go in the garage first. Not that I want cockroaches out there, but
Yeah.
I don't want that stuff in my house. So
Uh-oh, Valerie, did you freeze?
probably,
No, she's talking.
She's fine. I joined and that
Okay.
probably screwed everything
Maybe it's me.
I've thought of
but
cockroaches and stuff. I do think about it, but I try not to worry about. I try to keep it out of my mind because I wouldn't do nothing if I worried about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ew.
But
Yeah.
up here, see, I don't have to worry about it as bad because like cockroaches and bed bugs aren't as bad up here. Like cockroaches, the only time you get cockroaches up here is if you live where there's steam heat. So some of the apartment buildings that are downtown Duluth that still have steam heat, sometimes they can get cockroaches because they come up the steam lines. But other than that, unless you're a pig or like a bar, which
Yeah.
they don't usually, most places have that exterminated right away, anyways. Um, so unless you're a pig or whatever, usually you don't end up with cockroaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually it's too cold for them here.
Though sometimes they'll come in on the ships or whatever. I remember when I managed a motel, we had to have the whole place exterminated because this guy came in off the ship and one of the sailors and brought cockroaches in, and we had to have the whole place exterminated. Oh, is that gross? And I jumped on it right away before it got out of hand and got rid of them. But yeah, other than that, usually we don't have problems.
All right.
Yeah. Jason says I'm confused. Are we talking about reselling?
Oh no,
Yeah.
how dare we?
Sally, you are frozen. Your picture's frozen. But you know what? I don't really want to mess with it because
I see her
I
moving
don't know.
around.
I
Do
don't want
you
any
do you see me?
issues. So
I think it's just you and Sally.
I see your picture and you are frozen, but that's all. That's okay.
Yeah, that's just
Do
you
you
and
want me to
Sally.
refresh?
No, you're fine,
No,
Sally.
you don't
Okay.
have to. I just wanted to tell you that you were frozen for me.
Yeah,
Both of
You
you.
may be just
I
fine
can't
for
see your
everybody else.
picture at all.
Okay.
You guys are
Both of
both
you.
I
fine
don't know.
for me.
Yeah, both of you are fine for me. I can hear you good. You both are moving
Good.
around.
Good. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, me too.
We
How's
How's
see
it
your
going,
beautiful
Eric?
faces.
Good. Had a great sale yesterday. So
Good.
Good.
I put up a whole bunch of light globes. I don't know if you have blue cat. I bought a box of 9 light globes for $20 at an auction. They look like this. 5 of them
Oh
look
yeah,
like this, and a guy came in and offered me $40 a piece for all 5 of them.
Nice.
So
Very
I love
good.
light globes.
Awesome.
I like
Now
trying
you
to
get to ship
$20
them all in one box.
Yeah, I'm gonna individually box them, and then I'll put them into one big box.
Yeah,
And then I'll gotta check the rates and everything. I mean, I'm gonna get into dimensional, but that's okay. I mean, it's $200. I figure it's gonna cost me 30 to $35 to ship them. So
yeah,
if I break it into 2 boxes, it might be cheaper, but I really don't know. It depends on the. I'm going to gotta pack them so they get there. That's the only thing I'm really worried about.
yeah. I do so good on light globes. I love light globes.
And I still have 4 or 5 more out of that box.
Nice.
I mean, that completely paid for that entire auction and profit. So, why did you refresh, Sally? We told you not to refresh.
Yeah.
I know. I got kicked.
Oh.
You did.
Oh, this is how it started yesterday.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Computer.
Huh?
I think it has to be something in your computer, Val.
It probably is. I don't know what it is, but I defragged it yesterday, but apparently that doesn't make a difference.
Well, Bessie mentioned something about using a program called CCleaner, and I don't know if it's free or not, but you might be download. If it's free, you might download that and then see where it goes. See that it's supposed to really clean up your system and make things work better. So
Okay, I'll take a look at it and see.
yeah, I only go by Dust told me. I don't know anything about it. So
Okay.
I can see everybody fine now. Hear everybody fine?
Well, I could see you, so that's good.
Good.
Okay, am I faint? Jason said that I sounded a little bit faint.
no, well,
It's
you're
just,
quieter, but not terrible.
yeah.
We had over 100,000 people.
Oops.
Well, that's boring.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I could hear you fine.
Okay.
And I'm deaf, so.
Okay. Let's see. If Val's hard drive is nearly full, it can cause this type of problem as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, why were we talking about cockroaches when I first joined anyway?
People are just wondering if we were worried about cockroaches.
Or bed bugs or anything like that you could bring in with used clothing and bedding and stuff.
Yeah, I mean in Columbus it's bed bugs is the biggest issue. We have a huge Somali community here. I mean, it seems to be that and that's really what caused the explosion. And bed bugs are not because you're not clean. It's just because that's what they do. They're like a pissy ass little mosquito, if you think about it. I mean, they suck your blood and they move on. I mean, but the problem is they're insidious. They get into your stuff and it's almost impossible to get rid of. And the biggest problem with it is you can get bed bugs from anywhere. You can get bed bugs by shopping in the thrift store.
Yeah. You can get bed bugs from up here. I remember when we had a run on bed bugs, they were in the movie theaters. They found them at the at stores. They found them at furniture stores.
It's a transfer of pests. I mean, if somebody's got them in their house and they get on their clothing, they made a bed bug when they're small is the size of the head of a pin. That tells you how big they are.
Mm-hmm.
They get a little bit bigger. They get to be about a 1/4 inch big, but when they're small, you can't really see them. They're a little black speck. And so, you go shopping in the thrift store, and yes, you can brush up against something that has a bed bug on it, and you take it home, and next thing you know, you just gotta be aware and know how to protect yourself. I mean,
Mhm.
easiest thing to do is when you buy stuff from a thrift store. What I always did was I always brought it home and threw everything I bought in the thrift store right into the dryer and let it run on a cycle in the dryer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The heat will kill them. Bed bugs can live for up to a year without feeding. So that's the other thing is they last forever. But
Yeah.
they've come out with so much better. I mean, it used to be that used DDT was the main ingredient. That's what killed all the bed bugs. It's like an instantaneous kill. And so you got to kind of figure out what the best stuff is. And they can't use DDT anymore, obviously. But there's good stuff to buy that'll kill them right away. But that's not dangerous. You can also use things like diatomaceous earth. It's just very dusty.
Right.
But if you have a problem, you can use that and spread that around. That actually tears up their bodies. But it's just one of those things. If you encounter them, you have to get rid of them. But there's ways to protect yourself. I mean, I usually when I buy stuff, I usually leave it in my car in a plastic bag, and that heat will help there. Then I throw it in the dryer. I don't do furniture, so I don't really worry too much about that. But roaches are another thing. I mean, roaches are a pain in the ass, but they're actually fairly easily controlled.
Yeah. Yeah, those you can spray and get rid of.
Yeah, bed bugs the same thing. You can spray and get rid of them. It just, I mean, the ideal method for getting rid of bed bugs is heat, and it costs several $1,000s if your house gets infested. But they will basically come in and they will seal up your house, and then they will bring in heaters and heat your house to 140 degrees,
Wow.
Yeah.
and that will kill them. And they keep it that way for like an hour or two. I mean, that's why it's so expensive. It's a lot of money to do that.
I would hate to get an infestation of anything because a couple of years ago my brother came up from Michigan and his dog had fleas and we had fleas. Oh my God, it was horrible
I
getting
thought you
rid
were
of
going to say there's
those.
nothing worse than an infestation of unwanted family.
Well, that too, but no.
My brother can't even
Um, but I mean, these fleas, I mean, and our family is really close. So we do things all together. So like 5 different households were full of fleas and it was terrible.
Fleas are
Oh, it
pretty
was
easy to
horrible.
control too.
A lot of money went into getting rid of them. Now my dogs don't go with even a week without their front line on. Because fleas aren't a big thing up here. So, because it's so cold up here, but so we never had to worry about fleas. So, and the dog's got a couple ticks on them, but we'll wait and put the front line on them. But now I don't even falter. It's on them right away, right to the date. I have a thing on my phone. I'll let them go without it for a minute.
The Kirby door-to-door man, that's all Kirby stuff right over there. So, but yeah, I mean, fleas are a pain in the ass. I found the best method for getting rid of fleas is to have white dogs.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
Right.
have my dogs don't have fleas. They've never had fleas, but my dogs are white with black spots on them. And for some
Right.
reason, and I don't treat my dogs for fleas.
Hmm.
And they go outside, and they run around out my yard, everything. They ran around in my yard in West Virginia, or the one did, and they've never had a single flea on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's just because they're white and they can't, and the fleas just don't deal well with that, or if it's too much light on them. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I never,
Hmm.
all the farm animals, chickens, everything I've never, strays I've brought home, I've never had fleas. My brother comes up with a stupid little chihuahua one time and bam, fleas everywhere. Oh man, I was so pissed. And the chihuahua wasn't even cute.
Chihuahuas are not cute dogs.
Oh, my daughter's is. He's an
No,
applehead chihuahua and he is really cute. He's got like a Precious Moments face. He's so cute. But yeah.
Chihuahuas are dogs that look like they've had too much caffeine.
He's a little bug-eyed freak. We call him a bug-eyed freak.
Bug-eyed freaks that shake all the time.
Whenever she wants me to babysit him, though, I'm like, oh my God, he is so needy.
I mean, you're 2 pounds. What else are you gonna do? I mean, you're looking for the latest protector.
Yeah. And he hates lug nut.
Yeah, I had a pretty good day yesterday. I sold, I think it was 113. If
Nice.
I can make over $100, I mean, that sounds pretty minimal, but if I can make over $100, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
doing good.
Yeah.
I try to average about $90 a day.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's where
Um,
I'm very comfortable. I can pay all my bills, um, and live a decent life with a $90 a day. I mean, when you think about it,
Yeah.
over 30 days, that's $2,700 a month, and I usually do better than that on
okay.
average. But
Right.
Hmm.
when I first started selling, I wanted to average $25 a day.
Yeah.
If I did $25 a day on an average, I was doing okay. I had sales as long as I had, and I wanted to have one sale a day, and I wanted to average $25 a day. So
Hmm.
now
Right.
I like to have 4 or 5 sales a day, and I want that average to be up near that 90 to $100. I mean,
Right.
I
Exactly.
mean,
Hmm.
you should be able to live on $3,000 a month.
Hmm.
Yeah. Almost definitely.
Because even after you pay for shipping and taxes and fees and everything, you're bringing home about $2,000 a month. And if you can't live on $2,000 a month, I'm not saying it's a great living.
Hmm.
You have to think about your bills. What do you have going out as opposed to what do you have coming in?
Right.
Hmm.
Right. And that's,
I mean, I can
that's kind of, I've never been so frugal in my life, as I am now because I just, I don't have the money to go out and, blow or, um, you know, even if I did, I don't even think I would, I still think I would be, a little, more frugal. It's just kind of, I think just living in the area that I'm in, that's just, like fast food, maybe once every 2 weeks, you know, which is good. I mean, I kind of had to be, taught and that you go buy groceries. When you go buy groceries, you eat those groceries. You don't go out to eat every day,
Yeah.
you know. So, um, but I found a Burberry tie
That's nice.
um, a couple weeks ago. Paid 75 cents for it, and I got $45.
Nice.
Made
Nice.
Got more for
$45.
your
So that
Burberry tie than I got for a Burberry jacket once.
Hmm.
that was that was really good. I was surprised. I was really surprised. Um, that's what I had it listed for, but I thought, well, nobody's probably going to buy that, but yeah, somebody did. And then what else did I sell? Oh, I sold a Sirius XM car radio kit,
Mm.
for, I think that was $40. So it was good. I had a
Yep.
good day yesterday.
I mean, that's the nice thing. I mean, you had a couple good sales and put you close to $100, and that's where you're at, and that's the best thing you can do. I mean, I did well yesterday, but
Yeah,
um,
sounds
you know,
sounds like everybody or a lot of people had a really good day
yeah,
yesterday.
I sold two Zooms for parts yesterday, so I got $20 a piece out of those, which is great because they're just sitting around doing nothing.
Right.
Uh, so hopefully they'll. I mean, I sold them as parts not working. I don't know what's wrong with them, and
Yeah.
I got a message from the one guy. He's more concerned about making sure it gets there and it still looks the same as in the pictures, and I'm like, it will because I'm gonna bubble wrap it and throw it in a box. And I think he was worried I was just gonna like throw it in like a padded mailer or something like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a electrical equipment piece. I
Right. You're not
wouldn't
gonna
do
do
that.
that. No. But it was a good day, and then I went, like I said, I went to the thrift store and got a bunch of stuff there. So
Yeah. But Tim Gerhard was talking about gas, wear and tear on the vehicle, new equipment, cameras, computers. You got to build all that into cost of your business, and that's a lot of that is set up at the beginning. But most people have a computer or a tablet or a phone that they list from. A lot of phones have good cameras. I mean, you don't have to get into this and spend a lot of money. I had computers way before I started doing eBay, so I mean, for me, it was always like that. But you have to think about that, your cost of your business. I mean, a light kit is one of those things you have to kind of think about.
right.
Uh, you know, you don't have to have that right away, but it's something you should upgrade to. Buying shipping supplies. I buy all my shipping supplies. I know I can go find them and not pay anything for them. I take great comfort in knowing that there's nothing that I need to buy to ship something that I'm selling.
Right.
You know, I buy bubble wrap. I buy boxes. You know, not only my eBay boxes, but I buy boxes on the side as well. I buy, you know, from the boxery.
Mm-hmm.
It's just makes so comforting to know that I don't have to worry about what am I going to ship it in.
Yeah, or what it's going to look like when it gets to the customer.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have some kind of, pride about, what it's going to look like and how they're going to feel when they get that,
Yeah.
like you can't really send a tie in a a condom box because
No.
that's just not
It's gonna be a little
right.
tacky.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I have a full selection of poly mailers that go from everywhere from a 9x6 all the way up to a 20x24.
Right.
Because I sell large plush every now and then. I mean, and I shipped out a puppet yesterday. It's one of my large Fort Marnie's puppets, and it's 25 inches long, so it fit right. And you know, once you kind of flip the tail around, it fit right in there just fine. I have every conceivable priority mailbox that I can use. I actually have them all. I have every one that I would normally ship something in. So, and I constantly reorder and make sure I have good supplies of those. I mean, I have tape I order. I have. You put another order in for tape. I just ordered bubble wrap again yesterday. I have postal totes to go back and forth to the post office. I mean, you know, that type of stuff you got to set up, and you don't have to do it right away. You know, build your business up and then let it get to that point where, you know, okay, now I need to make the next step. I need to order some shipping, you know, my own shipping supplies. I need to stop being such a cheapskate and worry about some of my presentation. I think that's kind of where I got to. And there was nothing worse than waking up in the morning. Oh, garage sale. I don't have anything to ship it in. Well, I don't have that problem now. You know, I've
I
been
get a
like,
lot of shipping supplies from my husband brings home for me.
Mhm.
And I got every size box you can imagine. I got every priority box you can imagine. I got bubble mailers from small to large, poly mailers from small to large. I usually get most of my like shrink wrap and bubble wrap from my husband's work. But if I have to, I go out and buy it.
yeah. I mean, if I had a source where I could get stuff for free, I would. But I don't want to. I'm not going to search Craigslist or anything or sources like that. I mean, if I knew somebody that had the stuff, and I probably do. But you know, I use shrink wrap. I order this stuff. It costs for 2 rolls. It's like $16 and 1,000 feet on each roll. I don't use tape inside my packages. Shrink wrap all the way around it, and it'll hold that bubble wrap nice and tight, so it doesn't get loose. The package doesn't shift or anything, and there's no tape on it.
You just froze, Eric. Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, it just like stopped.
Yeah, it did for me too.
Like,
Am I stuck? Am I frozen with my bubble wrap thing in the air?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, see, I can't.
You're not frozen now.
Ah, okay. But
yeah, it was for like 5 seconds, and me and Valerie are looking at each other, going, "What do we do?"
as long as you can hear me talking, I don't really care if my picture's there or not. So
Yeah.
But
I was telling you and Dusty yesterday, I get these end rolls of shrink wrap from my husband's work because their machine that does it on the pallets, it's like almost half the roll is left over and they just throw it away. So my husband brings that home and I get these big rolls, half rolls of shrink wrap. I love it.
yeah, I got tired. I mean, and here's the thing is, I get tired of if I get a package in the mail and I go to open it up and it's got bubble wrap on it and they've taped on it. I'm ripping the tape and the bubble wrap is getting shredded just to get to my package. Where the wrap, it just unwraps itself. There's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get through. I mean, and Dusty sent out a motor yesterday, and it had oil in it, and the guy acknowledged, hey, there's going to be oil in that motor. Make sure you wrap it up really tight. So he wrapped it up in a plastic bag. He threw some bubble wrap around it, and then he shrink wrapped it, and then he rebubble wrapped it again, and more shrink wrap. So he actually ended up with like a football shaped package.
Mhm.
And he was actually going to take it somewhere and get it, have him pack it for him. He's got a really good deal with his package ship place. And he's kind of looking at it, oh, hell, I just might as well ship that myself. I've got everything I need right here.
Yeah.
Once he'd gone to that step, it's protected. It's just a matter of throwing it in a box and taping it up.
Yep.
So, shrink wrap is one of those great tools that not too many people think about.
It's true.
And so, I mean, I use it for years, and it works great for me. Get out of my boxes.
Oh,
Get over here. Yeah. See, Kim says, I started 20 plus years ago having a spot in an antique store, but times change and now you have to rotate in constantly new product. Doing eBay as well. Yeah, I had antique booths, and it's a lot more work than most people think.
Mhm.
You just don't throw your stuff down there and people come in and miraculously buy it. You've got to really treat it like your own business, and you have to go down there and you're constantly cleaning and rearranging and moving things front, moving things back, feeding new product in, taking old product out. You're going to spend a good you should spend a good 5 or 6 hours a week at every booth you have. And that will help your sales. And you've got to be cheap in your booth. I'm telling you that right now. You want to be successful, you want to have a good antique booth, don't put anything in there over $50. Unless you have giant pieces of furniture you're trying to sell.
yeah.
You be the cheap guy in the antique mall, and you will sell like crazy. People get in there and they want to buy, and you've got pennies in the dollar on some of this stuff. Make it cheap. Make them buy it. Everybody loves going to that booth where I can actually buy something in the antique mall.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how many times I go through antique malls all the time. I'm kind of educating myself and seeing what they have, but I'm constantly amazed at the prices people think they're going to get for stuff. And that stuff sits there and sits there and sits there. And then you go to a booth that's got $10 to $20 items, and they have new stuff all the time because it's blowing out the door.
Right. They can't keep it up on the shelf.
No, because people want to buy. I mean, there's so many people that go, probably 1 out of every 20 people going to an antique ball actually want to spend money, but you get them to a point where they can actually afford to buy something, and you can up that number. Like I said, that's what my model was in my antique ball down in West Virginia, and we never had trouble making rent. I mean, I always took a couple $100 a month of profit out of there, and this is leftover crap for me.
Yeah.
So it was always a couple $100 for the profit, and my rent was I think it was 100 and a quarter was my rent for 10 by 10. I can't remember exactly. It was either 100 or 100 and a quarter. And so, I mean, I was making $350 a month out of there, and I wasn't doing it. My wife was doing it. And like I said, I had small stuff.
No, that's another option that I may have. When I know that, I'm going to need other stuff, but when I moved to California, I know they have 2 bins in Sacramento, and I know that they have a huge antique mall, and so that's one of my options is to put some items in that antique mall while I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe just have my, say maybe close it out if I'm gone, or do something with it. Maybe have my daughter take care of it. I don't know, but
I don't like the amount of rent that they charge that they've started charging these antique malls. I see as high as $200, and that's you're charging $2 or $3 a square foot. Well, my God, I can damn near no lie, I could go and rent a full size building for $3 a square foot.
Yeah.
right,
And I'm not. I mean, only because the reason I know this is that's at the time, and I don't know if they're still the same way. It's been so many years since I worked for Ollie's. Ollie's had a rule whatever store they went to, doesn't matter where they, if they're going to put a new store in, the most that they would pay for rent was $350 a square foot.
Wow.
Now, Ollie's is running a 25,000 or 30,000 square foot building, so don't get me wrong, but that was their rule.
Right.
One of the things that kept their cost of business down, where they could be successful. Ollie's is a company that's been around for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Never had a store that was not profitable ever in the company's history,
Wow.
because they're cheap. They know how to do things cheap.
Are you saying
Yeah.
Aldi or Ollie's?
Ollie's, Ollies. They're not up near where you're at
That's what I
yet.
thought.
Ollie's Bargain Outlet.
Yeah,
And
my daughter loves that store. She has one close to her, and she just loves it.
yeah. TJ Towns says she likes the idea of shrink wrap. If you don't want to order it off of Amazon or something, if you've got a Harbor Freight nearby, they sell it for $9.99 for one roll.
Yeah.
So that's probably the cheapest. I know Walmart has it as well. I've never bought it from Walmart. So you have to kind of look at stuff like that.
Yeah. Look at your prices.
Yep.
I know that I bought a couple of rolls from Walmart. I couldn't tell you how much they were though.
It's probably comparable to Harbor Freight, probably $10 for a roll of 1,000 or 500 feet or something like that. I like this size here because it's easy to roll off. I've got a bigger roll if I have like big stuff, but I use the small stuff and I can just go around it and you can just strip it out and wrap it around stuff and it just pops off when you're carrying it. I mean, it's no big deal. Easy to do stuff, but best thing there is, and she just said she's in a business class and they never talk about shipping. They don't talk. It's cost of business. They don't think about the entire cost of business. Most people who are teaching a shipping class or a business class never been in business.
No.
They're teaching what they were taught. And I hate to say it, but college is like Amway. Half the damn instructors are only there because they stayed in school long enough to become a professor and they never worked in the real world. You get a real world professor or even a high school. Think about it: a high school or a college or a elementary school teacher, whatever. They go to school to become a teacher. They don't go to school to become a business person. So now they're teaching a business class. They're only teaching what they've been taught.
Right.
Right.
Now you get somebody who has a business on the side or something like that. I guarantee their classes are a lot more interesting.
There was this lady. It was on Shark Tank, and this lady she was a professor and taught entrepreneurship. So she made her I couldn't even tell you what her product was, but she had, she went in and she was pretty sure of herself, that she was gonna get, what she wanted, and that people were gonna be excited about it and everything. They turned her down. She didn't get any, because they were like, this is not a realistic, item. People aren't going to want this, so she used her knowledge, her book knowledge about how to run a business, and how to make something, but she didn't have the street smarts about it. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people may come up with a good idea, but they don't understand that by the time you figure in production costs, marketing costs, and everything, your good idea has now passed the realm of what people are willing to pay for that idea.
Right.
It should be a complete plan when they do something like that.
Yeah, if I was going to present to Shark Tank, I'd want to know cost of production, where I'm going to get it produced, cost of shipping, how I'm going to market it. You got to have all that stuff laid out so that you're presenting a decent business plan. Otherwise, they're going to just turn you down because you don't know. You don't have those costs laid out.
Well, she had she had a really good business plan. Just
But she had
her
a bad
item
idea.
that it just wasn't, it wasn't realistic.
Yeah.
And so, but I just thought that was kind of cool that she taught that class, but then she couldn't, but
Yeah, I mean, if it's what, I mean, that's again, she knows the theory, but she doesn't understand that there's also, she didn't do any type of market testing to see if it's something that people want.
Right.
Yep. TJ says she buys at online auction and her $1 items are doing better for me than their $50 items. Yeah.
Wow.
You turn $1 into $20. That's a huge amount of return. If you turn $50 into 100, all you did is 100%. But $1.20, that's like 2,000%. I mean,
Right.
wow. Sherry Honeybee says her antique mall is $200 for a 5x10, which is 50 square feet. So you're paying $4 a square foot, and they take 15% off the top
Wow.
of your sales. That's crazy. My place was, they charged us rent only, and they ate the sales tax.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, all they were concerned with was getting, they had, I mean, it was a pretty decent sized place. There was probably 40 renters, and different spaces brought different money, but they were probably bringing in close to $4,000, maybe as much as $5,000 a month just in the booth rental.
Wow.
So that's all they really cared about. They didn't care about taking everything else. Well, screw you, dude. You don't want my offer. Offer me $5 for a dial indicator that could have cost me $3 to ship. It's right now it's on sale for $17. So I hit him back at $13, and he's like, nope, don't want it. That's fine. You just help me in my search engine. I didn't know TJ was in Canada. Sorry. Not sorry you're in Canada for being Canadian, but sorry because shipping sucks for you guys up there.
It sounds like she does all right though where she's at.
If she's in Canada, it'd be really great if you have a package processor that actually takes them over the line for you, or if you can do it yourself. I don't know where you live at, but if you could do it yourself, that's actually the way to do it. The package processors charge like $3 a package to get it across the line, and then you're just paying your. I mean, I think that the way I understand it is they set you up with a box or something, and you're paying basically shipping from that. You're paying American shipping plus $3.
Right.
That's how I do it. If I was in Canada, I would find one of those people, and I would make sure that they take care of everything for me, because it's so much faster, and it is cheaper in the long run. So I don't know if you're near the border, TJ, I would look into one of those, or if you can actually do it yourself. I don't know what it would take to actually come across the border and get a post office box and use that as my shipping address. Yeah, I imagine you get great stuff up there. What part of Canada are you from? Oh, I'm an Amazon merch, and it sucks.
I tried to get in and they denied me.
No, I've been in for a while, and I've got T-shirt designs up, and haven't had a single person. I don't work it. The problem is they went through a period where last year when they first opened it up, everybody went crazy, and they were just throwing stuff in there, and then they let the Chinese sellers get in. And what happened was the Chinese sellers were downloading everybody's catalog. They went in, they pulled everybody's stuff off, and then they put it in their own store and uploaded it as their own designs. Because at the time, Amazon was saying, yeah, you put a design up, you're good to go. It doesn't matter. You can put as many up as you wanted. And what happened was, suddenly, I mean, and this happened to Dusty. He has his Alabama Pickers T-shirt that he sells because somebody wanted him to make a design. And next thing you know is Alabama Pickers T-shirts out there, and it's not going to him. It's going to some person in China.
Yep.
So what happened was Amazon they took everybody. They stopped people from being able to upload over Christmas and all the way through kind of like February, I think it was. And they came back and said, okay, you can upload two designs a day. You can and you have 30 days to make a sale off the designs. If you don't make a sale off the design, they take it out of your catalog.
Wow.
So now you're really limited. I don't know if they actually booted all those people off and then told them to redo it or not, but there's better T-shirt companies out there, and I can't remember. There's a couple of different ones, and I don't know because I'm not that interested in it.
Yeah.
you're a graphic designer or something like that, or you've got really good, I mean, the people who make really good money are the ones that are on the edge of social media. They know what's going on. They're hitting that lick right when it's getting hot. And I am about as far away from that edge as possible. I mean, I Facebook, that's my Facebook thing, and most of my stuff is crap, and I should skim right through it. So, but if you're one of these people that's on Twitter and on Instagram, and you're following the celebrities, you're following the politicians, that's how you make money on that stuff. Because you're out there and you're getting, you know, somebody says something, and boom, you got a T-shirt because it suddenly went viral.
Yeah.
That's how you make money on merch. Wow, so 35 miles and you chose to spend $9 extra. Your car get that bad of gas mileage? I don't know. I hate UPS. I was at, yeah, Teespring. That's the other one. A lot of people use. The other Jason said brought that up. Maybe it's 60 days now. I've been on it in probably 60 days. So yeah, TJ, you should show everybody what you're getting. You know, just don't tell them where you're getting it from.
Right.
Show your stuff and lie about where it comes from. That's the bit. I mean, yeah, don't have to, like, you know, you can say I got it at a garage sale or bought it at an auction, but if you've got a store that you consistently hit that always has great stuff, maybe it's a little liquidation store, something like that, don't tell people where it's at. They can find it, they can figure it out, that's fine. But don't give them any more information than that. I mean, I talk about online auctions all the time. Everybody knows I'm in Columbus, Ohio. They can kind of figure it out. I don't care.
Right.
But if I had a store where I've got a really good relationship with somebody and I get good deals in there, I'm not going to let people know where it's at, because I don't want somebody going in and name dropping, because that's not cool.
Right.
You know, hey, Eric told me to come on in, and the guy, I don't want to blindside my supplier or anything like that. And then again, it's just, you got to protect your money. I mean, that's how it works.
That's right.
There he is.
Yeah, subject very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I knew I could reel you in with that one.
I just woke up and I was like, oh no. It's I don't know how this whole I've literally listened to 30 seconds of the show so far.
PJ Towns was talking about she wants to make a video show because she has great sourcing up where she's at in Canada, and
it's you'll start out doing YouTube thinking there's a good chance you'll start out doing YouTube thinking that nobody in the world will ever watch this. Nobody from my area will ever see it. Nobody, whatever. And then you wake up one day and find out that your favorite little honey holes, your secret out of the way spots, that people are walking in and asking for the guy that does YouTube by name. And then all of a sudden you realize, you know, and you realize that maybe you're showing some things that you bought, you know, if you're dealing, okay, let's say you've got your favorite, I don't know, whatever, favorite guy that has a yard sale. Okay, I don't know, your favorite store, and you go in there and you don't make a killing off of them, but you hit some home runs. You make a decent living off of merchandise out of that store, or out of that store and several other stores and whatever, and then you do videos about it, and you know, somebody walks in one day and goes, hey, do you know they do videos? You know, do you really want that person? Because, you know, of course in the videos you're not necessarily going to show every single aspect of, okay, here's the crap I bought from them I never listed, or here's the items that were duds or whatever. And it's going to give the impression it could ruin a business relationship if you're not.
Yeah, think about it. Nothing worse than walking up to somebody and they go, hey, I saw that thing you sold Eric the other day. You know, he sold it for $5,000 on eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
I had that happen to me. I had that happen at my auction place. And the good thing is my auctioneer was like, hey, cool, great for him. But literally, I mean, someone walked up and said, hey, you know that box that Eric bought? Yeah, he made almost $4,000 off that one item out of that box. And it was like, that was embarrassing, but it was the truth. My auctioneer didn't care. That was the cool thing about it. He was a very cool guy. He's like, because it wasn't his personal stuff.
Well, the relationships that I have with most of my stores and stuff, they don't care. I mean, but I've been in the junk business long enough to know, or the reselling business long enough to know that there are people out there. I have had one person I dealt with back in Birmingham years ago that if he felt like you were going to start making a lot of money, he would automatically go up on his prices. He wouldn't say it, but he would just be like, well, I think the next week you go in, he'd be like, yeah, I saw your stuff on eBay, man. You're doing really good. We'll have to have, $5 on those items this week instead of $4,
Yeah.
And so ever since then, I've always been, it's none of anybody's business. I'll have a business relationship with people when I buy, and I'll establish those relationships, but they don't ask, what do you do with it? Where do you sell it? What did you get for it? And I just the same as I don't ask them what they paid for it, when they sell it to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what'd you pay for that before I give you $10 for it? What'd you pay for it? And that's the kind of business I like to do. And so at the end of the day, then if you throw somebody else into the mix, somebody comes along and it's even, I heard Eric talk about, somebody comes along in your area and starts running their mouth or whatever. It's like I heard Eric talk about auctions. I'm really careful about talking about auctions. I have a couple of them I really like to go to, and you know what? I don't do videos there. I don't talk about where they're at. I don't do videos on the way there. So in case you can see stuff out the window, and you'd be surprised how many people recognize street signs when you're filming things.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Doing videos is great. It's informative. It's fun. You can teach people a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, don't let the desire to want to help other people get in the way of you helping yourself and providing for your family or spouse or what.
Well, that was where I was recognized. It was at a local auction.
Right.
Yeah, which the good thing is that it didn't really, the problem was the guy was bidding again. He bought stuff that I really wanted, but he paid more than I was willing to pay, so I'm okay with that. He actually asked me if I wanted to buy the stuff because he has trouble motivating himself to sell on YouTube, and so he came back to me and asked me if I wanted to buy the stuff from him again. I'm like, no, I'm good. You paid more than I was willing to pay, and I think he was talking about making taking a loss on it. He just wants to move it. I might have to get back with him here in a week or two. Let the pressure build on him. Because I wanted it for about half what he paid, but I kept going at it because I figured they were medium format slides, which you don't see medium format stuff very often.
Right.
And that's really the best quality slides. You get more light into them and everything. So, how are you doing, Matt?
Oh my Lord, I love this message. I had a return come back on an item, and it went to our mailbox store. I think you did. Did you say hey?
I said morning, Tris.
Oh, morning, love.
She's not feeling very good this morning. She gave both that stomach ache or feel lightheaded or something. So the return came back to my mailbox store. I went and got it the other day. It hasn't really even been back that long. Hello, according to tracking, your item has been returned. Please issue a refund within 48 hours or we will escalate this case to the eBay Buyer Protection Department, which could result in damage to your ability to sell on eBay in the future if you're found to be dishonest in your practices.
Yeah, is that an email from eBay?
No, this is an email from the person that returned the item. And usually what I do with that is this is a little passive aggressive. I'll be like, hey, I am so sorry, and they've got 4,200 feedback. So they're probably, they're probably a seller, or if not, they've been around. Hey, I am really sorry. We use a mailbox store. We had my wife's, grandmother died suddenly and we, had a funeral and everything else. I am really sorry. Just issued your refund. And usually when that is kind of passive aggressive, but when you kick it back like that, then they're like, oh shit, I am so sorry. That's, okay, thanks so much.
Wow. That's a pretty shitty email to send.
It is kind of a shitty email.
Because they sent it as soon as it showed as delivered.
It's been back for a day. But I didn't get over there to get it.
Well, you could be working at night or something. You may have never even seen the package yet.
Oh, I know.
TJ, if you got 3 rooms of merchandise, you probably shouldn't be buying them.
Ooh.
And I'm speaking from experience. So,
is that 3 what's of merchandise?
3 rooms full of merchandise to have to list, unless it's all listed. That's different. If it's all up and listed, then yeah, you keep buying. But But it's so hard to pass.
This guy likes to leave negatives too, somewhat.
I haven't left a negative in years. I really don't care. I mean, the way I figured is if you leave a negative, it's just bad karma. It takes a lot to really piss me off, though.
Sally, are you frozen?
She's asleep. She's out.
I am not. I'm writing stuff down.
Can you read what you just wrote? Or is it like recording scribble because you were
I'm filling out paperwork for my doctor, so it shouldn't matter.
you can probably still read it. Yeah, I had a job. I used to work for a Bank One in their bank protection area, and I was in charge of security from one of their buildings. And it was just one of those bad days where I started my shift at 8 o'clock, and the 4 o'clock guy and the midnight guy both called out, and I didn't have anybody else to fill it. So I ended up working 36 hours straight.
Oh my gosh.
And we had a log, especially at night. We had the walk around log, which is where you have to walk around and check the buildings. We always made credit card processing in the building, and there's a couple of really secured areas, president's office and all that type of stuff. And so we had to go check out everything. It was a huge building. Well, you had to write in your log that you made your, you made your rounds and everything, and you could check it because it's all electronic key card and everything. And I was also responsible for programming the key cards and all that. So what you get, Kat? So I worked all that entire shift, and I got done with the shift, and I looked back the next day on my logs, and I remember it clearly, right? Made building rounds, check this. All I saw was like a 3-inch scribble, and I remember writing it, but I was so whacked out of my head from sleep that I just didn't write anything. I just scribbled it. God, please make it a $10 offer. All right, I'm trying to get rid of those things forever. $8.50. Just gotta remember to put them down.
Tim Tempe Gerhard.
It's just
But I think as thrifters and pickers, we should help each other. I don't collect or sell everything. I don't do women's clothing, but don't mean I can't look and then sell at cost to someone else to resell. And I know this isn't what you're talking about, but that actually reminded me of the subject. This business is the only business, and Eric and I were talking about this the other day, where we do all kind of help each other, which is very abnormal. For kind of, we're having this discussion. Are you really helping your competition? Doing shows like this, doing other things, doing YouTube videos. Are you really helping your competition? Are you hurting yourself? Or are you, well, Eric, how was the way you put it? Which is the way I view it as well. You're making the venue that you sell on better.
Well, the way I looked at it is yes, you are helping your competition, but the reason I do these things and talk about stuff is I want my competition to be a good seller, because I don't want my competition driving my buyers off because they suck.
Makes sense.
If you're a shitty seller and you're not any good at it, you piss off an eBay customer, they're not going to buy from my store now because they're done with eBay.
True.
So that's why I do these things, because I think everybody can do this to a certain extent. And you don't have to be a great seller, but you can be a competent, good seller. But we've all dealt with too many crappy sellers out there, and those people need to go away or need to learn how to do better. And the only way you're going to learn how to do better is someone teaches it, because there's no classes on how to do eBay. There's YouTube. You could probably make money running around doing classes on eBay. I mean, I know that there's several people that do that. They go around and they teach people how to thrift. But I don't think anybody really teaches people, sits down and maybe goes into a classroom and says, we're going to have a classroom on how to list. We're going to have a classroom setting with 20 people that know how to ship. And I think people need that type of stuff. There's some people that just need that hands-on, this is how you do things.
Yeah.
I don't think at the end of the day it's gonna ruin anything. I mean, Lord, I was in the junk business before that was even eBay. I mean, selling at flea markets and stuff like that, really. And I mean, it's always been other resellers know what other resellers do. They know trends, they know what's hot. I mean, people figure things out. I'll give you a really good example. When I started doing car parts, when we first started out, we were doing car parts and we were going to junkyards and buying out their back stock inventory, you know, where they pull all the car stereos and they put them on shelves or whatever. Have them in the back, we'd buy all that stuff and we'd stick it on eBay. You know what? After 2 or 3 years of doing that, the junkyards got smart and they started putting their stuff on eBay. It wasn't because of any YouTube video anywhere. There wasn't even YouTube back then. You know, it was because eventually they figured out, okay, where is our business going? Oh, everybody's buying on this thing called eBay. Well, we need to figure it out. People figure things out. You know, I personally, like Eric said, it's kind of like the Amazon seller forums. It gets asked over there a whole lot. Why do some of you spend way too, you'll see people get in there and get really catty. They'll be like, some of you spend way too much time to have a little symbol next to your name. You know, and you must not have any business if you spend so much time on the Amazon seller forums. But there's people that have been on there for 10 years. They don't get a dime for doing it. They do it because they want to make Amazon a better place to get rid of, like Eric said, help get rid of crappy sellers, help educate people to become better sellers so that it becomes a better platform for everybody else. And it doesn't become like eBay was in the 2000s where it was all, you know, just freaking disaster. Well, that was mostly because of the Chinese, but...
Yeah, I mean, and Tim even mentions, you know, every state is different, every area is different. You can get different stuff. So it's always nice when, like, you know, we do a show or something like that. And I don't know what the hell something is because I've never seen it before, but someone else may have seen it. They can actually help me out. So I mean, believe me, I get back from doing these shows and everything as well. So. You're always going to be learning. I mean, TJ said it right. I mean, you're always learning. There's always something that you've never seen before. Whether it's worth anything or not is a different story, but there's always something out there.
Well, me personally, this is the kind of stuff that I usually show. It's not going to kill any markets. You know, people already know there's some money in antique typewriters. Well, not really. Some there are, some there aren't. But you know, just because I show one doesn't mean that everybody's going to run out. It's going to become a bolo and it's going to kill the antique market, you know, category, or the antique typewriter.
Yeah, well, I mean, personally, the only bolo that I know that killed the market was Starbucks mugs.
But I don't know that was anything that had to do with YouTube or Facebook groups or anything else. I think people just naturally were going to figure it out anyhow.
Well,
there's always going to be people out there looking for what's the next item I can sell that nobody else is selling.
Yeah, when I got back on eBay, I didn't know that Starbucks mugs were a thing. So I had no idea. I mean, and I got lucky and I found a couple and they sold really well. And I got a huge lot at auction and I sold all those. And then I started noticing the price I was getting was starting to go down. I have a couple that are listed now that I was getting $40, $50 for. I can't give away for 20.
I mean, it's definitely, don't get me wrong, definitely because of increased competition, but I don't know.
So what I use for my coffee mugs, and I actually bought a lot of 7 of these things, and you know what? They're great coffee mugs. They're only worth about $10 a piece. I could probably lot them up, but you know what? I use them as coffee mugs.
Ooh, I like what Shark and Lomdeal said. The problem in this business is if you don't evolve, you destroy the business for everybody.
Yeah. I agree.
I remember an item that got saturated because of YouTube videos, that the Black & Decker lids off.
I thought you were going to say George Foreman drip trays.
Those two. I used to get like 20 bucks a piece for those. But that lid's off. That is, but that's coming back. You can get like 20, 25 bucks for them now. I mean, you used to be able to get like 40 or 45 or 50. Yeah.
Yeah, they were crazy pricing on that. And the sad thing is, the only ones I ever found in thrift stores were ones that didn't work.
Huh.
So I don't know. It's I think it's a fine line between, you know, but it is really odd if you stop and think about it. There's no other real business like that in the world that everybody gets together and I mean they do to some extent. Like my dad's, the UPS stores have a co-op, which is all the local stores in a region, and they get together, and of course their, you know, their franchise fees they pay, that money gets pooled within the co-op to pay for advertising. So they get together to help each other, you know, to figure out what they want to do with their advertising money for the quarter or whatever. And they do help each other with, you know, merchandise. Hey, have you tried this in your retail area and all that? But they're not really competition though either, because the stores will be so far apart. I mean, people are going to go to whichever UPS store they're closest to or in their area.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily, my dad's not necessarily competing with the guy that has a store 100 miles away. Well, he's not at all.
Yeah, but you don't, I mean, you do see retailers getting together, but they're not talking about business, they're talking about common issues.
So
you know, I used to be part of a retail group that we get together and talk about the loss prevention issues in the area. And, you know, we'd have 15 or 20, sometimes managers, sometimes district managers, sometimes, you know, LP managers. And we sit down, we talk about our common problems. But we weren't talking about, you know, hey, are you guys selling milk really well this week? I mean, it's not, it wasn't like that. So,
and I think with, you know, if I have an item that's really, really, really hot that I found that I'm picking up from a store or whatever. I mean, it's Amazon. It's one reason I never, in my videos, I've never really talked about Amazon. Don't show Amazon. Even back when we did a lot of Amazon, didn't show it. It was too easy for people to duplicate what I was doing. Or if I had a really, really hot item that I was buying, like in Amazon, there were some items I could pick up at Walmart in the grocery department and turn around, send them into Amazon, and make really good money. I'm going to show those on a video. I mean, that'd just be bad business.
Yeah.
But I think that's totally different than you know,
eBay's too much one off. So
sharing knowledge about antiques and collectibles and stuff. Dadgummit. That's my Hank Hill voice. I don't know.
I wasn't on here back when you were talking about the videos. You know, even me, who's only got 200 and some subscribers, I actually saw somebody out in the public who said, "Oh, are you a popular picker?" And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then it makes you really stop and think, because I think when we started doing videos, I was like, because when we started, we had no viewers, no subscribers or anything. And it was like, okay, we're talking to nobody. And all of a sudden people start commenting, and we're like, wow, we got comments. People commented, like they actually watched it. You know, because you sit there and when you're doing it, you're like, nobody's gonna watch this. We're not interesting. And then you get to the point where you're like, okay, I can just, you know, talk freely. You know, who cares if I show my house or whatever, you know, and then I think it does get to kind of a little bit to the point where all of a sudden you do realize, like you said, Nikki, that wow, you do have people locally that have seen you and stuff like that. And hopefully they're not cuckoo or crazy or anything like that, but you know, wow, have I shown too much of my area and revealed too many trade secrets? You know,
I'm looking for a hot stalker.
Huh?
I'm looking for a hot stalker.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not hard to find anybody. I mean, just about everybody out there's address is findable through Google if you know the right places to look.
Yeah.
So it's not and I'm not terribly concerned about anything like that. But as far as revealing, you know, places you go and things like that, I don't know. Don't get caught up in, when you do videos, in becoming, this is directed at nobody in particular, but don't get caught up in doing videos and not having a filter and thinking about what you're saying.
Your videos are going to be wildly more successful if you actually aren't holding back, I guess. But that doesn't mean you have to show where you're getting your stuff. And kind of route it back to where we were talking about. You don't have to tell everything. But don't be afraid if you mention something that you found that sold really well for you. I mean, I said I would be protective if I had a source that was constantly feeding me this item.
Well, I mean, I've got a friend that I get wholesale silver stuff from. You know,
Yeah.
There's a really good example. It's am I gonna like go, hey guys, here's his store. Hey guys, here's exactly where the store is and what his name is. I mean, no, that'd just be stupid business on my part. You know, but I could teach people that, hey, you can actually go to these places that advertise they buy stuff, and you can turn around and buy stuff from them and actually turn around, if they'll sell it to you for spot price, you can actually resell that stuff online and make decent money sometimes. I actually know another reseller that does that as well that I was talking about that too, like this last week. But
yeah, that's I mean, you did really well off of the stuff you got from that one gentleman.
it's pretty good, actually.
I need to call him back. It's about time to see if he's got another load.
Yeah, I need to. I've got to. I kind of, well, yeah, I need to. We were supposed to go see a movie today. We were going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I don't think if this group's not feeling good, I'm not going to be able to do that. That sucks, because we went back and watched Guardians of the Galaxy 1 last night all over again, because I'm so old I won't remember, like, watch part 2 because I won't remember what happened in part 1.
Yeah, I watched part 1. I'm like, hell, I don't remember that.
That's exactly what I said. So we were going to go to the really cool movie theater that has the leather laid back recliners and stuff, and we were going to go to like the 11:45 because it's the matinee. It's only $6, $6 or $6.50.
Yeah, that's what I did last week. I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy, one of those leather laid back ones, and I was too close because, like I said, they had assigned seating, which was weird for me, and then it was too loud.
Right.
Because we were too close to the screen. Because I hadn't been there since the remodels. I had no idea how the setup was or anything. I couldn't go to a late night movie like that because I would fall asleep in the chairs.
I got if I donated blood yesterday, and if I actually, I won't go deeply into this story, but if you donate through our local blood bank, if you do it at a facility that's owned by Huntsville Hospital, which they have one inside of Huntsville Hospital, the hospital actually, in order to keep the blood there or whatever, as a perk, if you do regular blood donation, they give you $20 worth of movie theater gift cards. And you get to pick one of about 4 theaters. You get to pick your theater. And if you do the double apheresis, you get $40 worth, where they had this machine called Alex, which was double apheresis. Or if you do, and I've never done platelets, or if you do platelets followed by whole blood, which takes 2 hours, then you get double cards. Well, their Alex machine, that's like they call it, that only takes 45 minutes, they don't have it anymore. They had to move it to the blood bus. So I'm like, well, I'll do platelets. I said, how bad is, I said, I know what it is, but I said, she said, well, it's just going to take about 2 hours, but we do have TV. I said, oh, is that the big comfy chairs I always see everybody else in? She's like, yeah, dude, I will never freaking do that again. I'll tell you that right now. First of all, and I've never, 10 years of donating blood on a regular basis, and I've never had any reaction, never felt faint, never felt like I was going to pass out. As a matter of fact, after I donate, when I get out, I've always laughed. I feel energetic for like the next 2 weeks, almost like you've had your oil changed. And I sat down in that chair, and I'm doing okay, trucking along 30, 45 minutes. It's not hurting. The site where they have the needle isn't hurting or anything. And all of a sudden my lips are getting numb, and I'm like, oh crap, and my whole body feels like it's vibrating, and I'm like, is that normal? And she's like, oh, that's a reaction to, is it citrate? It's an anticoagulant that they're pumping back into your body, which citrate actually binds with calcium in your body to produce anticoagulation. So yeah, she's like, here's some Tums, and gives me literally 15 Tums. Chew these. I'm like,
15 Tums, holy.
That's like eating chalk.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
got a bunch of calcium in you.
to get the calcium in, right? She said, it'll go away. It'll go away. And so I'm like, okay, well, you know, I trust her. This chick had been doing it for 10 years, but I'm like, you know, I'm going to Google that while I'm sitting here. So I'm having to do it with one hand. I'm having to do everything left-handed because she couldn't stick my left arm. She stuck my right. And it kind of went away. Then all of a sudden it's really starting to hurt at the site. And that machine, the platelet machine, will actually let you know if there's the back pressure or whatever, if it gets low or high or whatever, you know, if there's a vein restriction or something's going on, it'll set off an alarm. And after it does it 3 times, it does a really loud alert. So they have to come over and hit the button. And they kept having to do it. And I'm like, what's going, like, she goes, well, I think your veins kind of getting tired. And I'm like, she goes, we probably need to stop it. She goes, you only get $20, you know, the $20 worth of movie cards. I'm like, we can keep on going. I said, as long as it's not going to hurt me, we can keep on. So then she brings the other chick over, the one that's been doing it for like 10 years. And she's like, no, she said, but you're almost done. She said, let me adjust the needle just a little bit. And I'm going to stand here. And she said, let's get this done to where it's a usable bag of platelets, which, by the way, platelets are disgusting looking. They look like, I told her, she goes, look, aren't those pretty? And holding the bag. I'm like, no, it looks like rancid cooking oil. So needless to say, my vein blows right at the very end. And there's like a big old knot. And I'm like, she's feeling, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Because that's all like, you know, blood, and fluid and everything under my skin. Yeah, just
Nice.
not, and very uncomfortable at the end, of course, about the time it blew. But, yeah, I think I'll wait. They're supposed to be upgrading all their machines, though, where they'll do the double apheresis thing here in the next month or two by the next time I'm eligible to give. And I just flat out looked at them. I'm like, no, I won't do platelets again. Ain't gonna happen.
See, I used to do plasma donation all the time. You do that twice a week, and you get 20 to 30 bucks, depending on where you go or what you're rated for and everything.
Yeah, but the only problem, I mean, I don't know about your area. The only problem here is the plasma places are like Crackhead Central because it's mostly crackheads in there giving their plasma.
Yeah, I mean, they're not typically located near. Now, the good thing is we have a large college campus, and there's one up on campus. So you can always find them around colleges. That's how my first wife, when she was in college, that's what she would do for spending money. Twice a week, she'd truck down to the plasma donation place, and she had a little bit something special about her blood. So she got like $35, something like that. But it was kind of weird. They paid you in $2 bills. Everybody know you got that's where you got $2 bills from. And
that must have been a crackhead thing.
Very clean place. I mean, just because it was a near a college. I mean, that's kind of the key is go to the ones near a college if you're going to go. Those are usually a lot nicer. And then once you get set up, and it takes a couple hours to get set up initially, then you go, like I said, get on a schedule, go, Mondays and Fridays, Tuesday, Thursday, whatever. I mean, you got you have to wait like 3 days in between them. But once you're doing that, it's good, steady money. Crazy money.
My nephew used to do that, and because he's an alcoholic, so he'd use it for beer. But he told me how much he made, and it was like $100 and some or $200 a month or something like that. I don't know. It was some crazy figure, anyways. And I told my husband, I said, sweet, I give blood, so I might as well go down there. I don't have any problems with that because I'm O negative, so I always give blood. And so I thought, well, sweet, I'll go down there. This could supplement our income. We could just bank all that money, and I was figuring out how much I'd make in a year, and stuff. And I was like, this is sweet. Well, the first time I went there, it took like 2.5, 3 hours because he told me it only took like 30 minutes or something. And I was like, oh, that's no big deal. And it took like 2.5 hours. And then I had this big old bruise on my arm and they used some big gauge needle. So I thought, holy crap, by the time I'm done. And then I saw a friend of mine who does it, and she looks like a big druggie, and I thought, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, they say they need plasma more than they need blood or whatever. But I don't know. If they have a run of where they need something, I'll go and do it. But because I get called and asked to come down and give blood, and I do it, and no big deal.
Well, the blood thing is really unusual. I mean, when we were same company, and I mean, I don't know that any other company does that. It's just it's different. It's the hospital giving the money, not the actual blood donor company that does or not the money, the movie gift cards. But I think it's pretty cool. But yeah,
that would be sweet.
I was thinking, what's it called? Huntsville, Alabama. I mean, seriously, go look at the street view. It's between like 5 check cashing places, 3 tattoo places, and 14 Mexican groceries. And I'm nothing against any of those places, whatever, but typically those don't tend to be good neighborhoods. Actually, you know what's funny? I'm going to look on here and see, just out of curiosity, if there's a line out front of the place when the Google streetcar went by.
That is cool because I don't get squat. I get a granola bar and an orange juice when I go give blood. That'd be sweet if I got movie tickets.
You can't sell your blood for cash, but they can give you things to incentivize you to come in. It's illegal to sell your blood.
Yeah.
And if you've ever had cancer and feel like or chemo or whatever, and feel like you can't give, double check with your local blood donation company. I was talking to the girl yesterday. They have actually changed that, at least with theirs here, where they can actually use your blood. Like Tristan had chemo years ago, and it doesn't just get used for research purposes. They actually use it, which Tristan brought out good. I was telling her that. I said, no, they've changed the legislature or whatever the girl was telling me. I can't remember. But basically, back when they said that back in the day, it was because they were scared because they didn't know the long-term effects of so they just basically said, oh, if you've ever had cancer or chemo, you can't donate.
Yeah.
But double check and see. But it's like Kristen said, she goes, I don't know, though, that I would want somebody's blood in me that had cancer or chemo.
Yeah.
Do we know, like she said, do we know enough about cancer or long-term effects of chemo? She goes, I could still have that stuff in my blood. Would I want to be putting that in somebody else's body? I thought, well, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, I'll do plasma. I will never give blood.
You won't give blood?
Nope. Especially mainly because I don't agree with their practices for how they bill for that.
Oh.
Let me put it this way: I got a $90,000 bill for blood for my wife.
Wow.
Yeah, for a 2-hour surgery. 30 units of blood. And I get it. They use a lot of blood. And I understand that there's a cost associated with storage and all that stuff. Not a $90,000 cost, though.
No,
so
especially when it's being donated. It's being
again, I don't mind. I get the fact that it's donated, and I don't have a problem with that because, again, there's a storage cost. There's a cost of transportation. There is cost to getting the blood.
Well, I think the biggest problem with that, it's my understanding that blood is actually regulated and treated as a pharmaceutical. And so when you throw the word pharmaceutical in there, and I hate big pharma more than anyone on this planet.
Yeah, that's very
it's a racket. It's bureaucratic political BS combined with big corporations, which is always a disaster.
Yep.
Well, my thing is whatever they charge, at least I know my blood is there if somebody needs it.
Well, mine's pretty cool, and I gave the story briefly in the Facebook group yesterday. But Tristan had cancer when she was 15, and had to have a lot of platelet infusions, and it saved her life. I mean, she's here today, and she had bad cancer, lots of chemo. She probably should have never survived. I mean, she is a miracle, true miracle as far as being a survivor. And I didn't know her back then, and I never knew my blood type. And one time about 10 years ago, the blood mobile was at our church, and I said, you know what? And I hate needles because of a bad experience in EMT school where you practice starting IVs on each other. And I let a guy dig in my arm for like I saw Valerie knows what I'm talking about. Until the proctor finally goes, Dusty, you look like you're about to pass out. And I'm calling it, step back, and pulled it.
I took phlebotomy.
I mean, he dug and I felt so bad for him. So I just kept letting him dig. And so I have a kind of a thing about needles, but about 10 years ago, the Bloodmobile was at our church. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do this for you if you'll, will you go in there with me? And I went in and did it. And of course I get my results back and they're like, oh, you're O negative and CMV negative. And you have like, probably the most rare blood type. And you have what we call baby blood. And it goes straight to babies at Children's Hospital for babies that have cancer and stuff. And I'm like, really, Lord, did you just do that to me? Like, wow. So, and Tristan goes, wow. And I remember when the results came back, she's like, wow. And so, it's something I do because because somebody gave to save her life. It's the least I could do. The movie tickets are a nice perk. I would still do it anyhow. Typically I give those movie tickets to our daughter or son or whatever. This time we'll be selfish and use them. But yeah, it's just kind of a cool story. And I don't say that to toot my horn or anything like that. But I never thought I would be capable of like doing something cool like that. And yeah, it is kind of a neat feeling to, Tristan's correcting me because I always get stories wrong. Lots of play. So I don't know.
It's hella better than the truth.
And now that I scared everybody about the platelet machine, to give whole blood is really not a big deal. It's literally, just eat before you go. Don't be like, and our daughter started doing it. When you turn 16, you can start giving and or 17 or whatever. She went, once she was old enough, she's been one time already. And I took her. And of course I was like, have you eaten? And she's like, yeah. And I think she meant like that Pop-Tart that she had 8 hours ago counted. And and I've never seen anybody almost pass out. And she got really, but man, they jumped through some ice packs on her carotids. I mean, they were just literally like, boom, 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 like machinery. Everybody just stopped what they were doing and ran to her. And she was okay. And she's so tough. I said, Windsor, are you going to be scared to come back? She said, no. And she started laughing and she's like, no, I just know to eat now. And I was like, that's what you take the Nutter Butters and the apple juice they offer you. Because number one, it's free. And number two, to keep your. Oh, she's done it twice. Did she go back? Oh, maybe I took it twice.
They have the best cookies there, the ones that you never think of buying and eating.
The ones that what?
The ones that you never think about buying and eating,
That's right. I'm too cheap to buy Nutter Butter.
Yeah.
And then they always have, the giveaway gift or whatever, which most of the time I don't get because it's usually a really cheesy T-shirt. Sometimes they're cool designs, and if I do get them, I'm just gonna cut the sleeves out of them and make a junk shirt out of them. Oh.
We don't get anything cool like that. We just get cookies and granola bars and juice.
And I think that, and the positive part of it for me as well is, they're going to check your iron level in your blood. They're going to take your blood pressure. They're going to check your weight. They are going to send you back the results of your cholesterol. So that it's kind of like not really a physical, but it's like a little mini physical just to kind of see where you're at. But
yeah, I have the universal blood, so I like to give blood just to be on this, and then whenever there's a big disaster or something somewhere, they always call me up and ask me to come give blood.
Gigi
it's a small little thing I can do for people.
Gigi had a good point. Make sure you hydrate really well.
Yeah.
Before you go, so you have nice big thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, veins. So far, it's not bruising though. I figured tomorrow it'll be a big, nice blueberry.
You look like a heroin addict.
I totally will. I'm like, that's so awesome, and the girl felt like awful, and she's like, I was like, I know it wasn't a bad stick because obviously I wouldn't have lasted an hour and 45 minutes into it before it blew. And she said, your vein got weak. I said, I'm not upset with you or anything. And she said, well, that's good. I said, thanks for making me look like a heroin addict. And she had a great sense of humor. And they ask you all those weird questions. And they've added a couple new questions. Is the gender that you were, here's question number one when they take you in the little private thing and ask you the question. Is the gender you were assigned at birth currently the gender you are using today to donate blood? And I'm like, oh my God, is this one of those damn bathroom questions? You know, like which bathroom? I said, wow, really devolved into that in this society now. And she goes, yeah, that's a new one. I got to ask. And I was like, yes, you know. And then they get down to like the money. Have you ever accepted money or gifts in exchange for sex? And I said,
Wait,
well, does like bribing your wife count or whatever? And she goes, okay, let me tell you a funny story. And this girl starts telling me, she's like, I had this guy come in one day and he's like, honey, if they tell you they haven't, they are lying to you. They're all lying. We're all lying. She said, sir, are you telling me you're lying? And he's like, I'm lying. I'm like, he goes, let me tell you. He goes, if I hadn't bought my wife that $300 purse, I wouldn't have got any that night. And I was like, he goes, so therefore she can't answer that question. No. And she's like, you know, I got to think about it. He has a good point, but I don't think that's really what we're talking about.
No.
They don't ask you about the sex with monkeys anymore, though. But they do ask you, like, she's like, have you ever received the drug something, something? It was like some pharmacy. I was like, what? And she goes, if no. She goes, no, that's a no. She goes, if you don't know, if you have to ask me to repeat the drug, she said, no, you've never had it. I was like, listen, I have never done anything exciting. I've never been overseas for more than 3 years at a time. I have been out of the country. I haven't done anything in the last 3 years that's exciting. I said, so just answer no to everything. I do have tats. Oh, yeah, but they asked the tattoos is within the last 90 days. And here it doesn't actually make a difference as long as it was a health department certified location. So tattoos don't make. The one that they did, and I'm gonna have to be careful on, was have you had any aspirin in the last 48 hours? And I do take goody powder fairly regularly, which has aspirin in it, but I hadn't taken any in 2 days. Oh, I don't know, Valerie or Sally or whoever here knows it's medical. What would, I mean, I know aspirin's gonna make you bleed.
So blood thinner.
It's gonna make your blood thinner,
Yeah,
but I mean, would one goody powder really affect?
Nah, I wouldn't think so.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
It's aspirin in it.
well, yeah, but that it'd have to be a pretty large amount, I would think.
Or if you take it regularly.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it would make that big of a difference, but this is probably I mean, there's probably more caffeine than there is aspirin, so
True.
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
probably a pretty minimal amount.
845 milligrams of aspirin, 65 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, you should be fine.
Flipping
It's only if you take it on a regular basis. that you have a
Flipping
problem.
Decades. Flipping Decades wants to know what's the 10 trending items on eBay.
Well, you think you can actually go on eBay and it'll tell you the trending items or whatever.
Yeah.
That's one of our segments.
They want me to tell them.
Yeah, that's one of our segments.
Where am I? Which one?
What you have a segment now? Microsoft Zoom.
First, number one is Donkey Kong.
Interesting.
Huh.
Oh, great. Unfortunately, eBay has stopped.
Oh.
Great. So number one
Typical
is
eBay.
Donkey Kong. Because of, I don't know, because it keeps on stopping. So I guess it's having technical difficulties today.
Imagine that.
Number two, I just can't see into it. If I don't click on it, it's fine. It's Logan's Stillbook, which I have no clue.
Logan.
I think it's a
Logan
Still.
Steel. It's a Marvel Comics book.
Oh,
It's called the Wolverine Steel book. It's
about
actually
Wolverine.
it's a DVD.
Oh, okay. And then number 3 is Twin Peaks.
Yep, anything Twin Peaks.
And maybe I can click on more. Nope.
Number 4.
And
Number 4 is the Moto G5 Plus, which is a cell phone. Which actually the Moto G is actually a really good. It's a Motorola cell phone.
yeah.
Trending is about 180 and 200. Number 5 is Alien Covenant, which is the sequel to Prometheus, which is also part of the Alien Predator universe. So anything
Right.
Aliens is going to be good when that comes out. Cause Companion, Kaws Companion. I've never even heard of this. Oh, it's a Brian Donnelly, the artist known as Cause, debuted 2 new Blush Companion figures. So I guess he does mini figures or something. Funko Pop is number 7. Sailor Moon is number 8. Number 9 is Injustice, which is a PS4 game. And 10 is Emojis. Apparently they're making an emoji movie.
Right.
Oh, God.
Sailor Moon was trending number 1 2 days ago because it was like their 25th anniversary.
Yep.
Doesn't know what that is. It's a
It's kind of the original.
it's like
one of the original animes that people really got into.
yeah, like one of the first.
Yeah. But really one of the first in America. I mean, anime in Japan's been around for a lot longer.
Yeah, well, yeah, there are
The first ones.
several, but Sailor Moon was like the first anime that really hit us hard. I don't know if it's just Michigan or what. That's crazy. Jean's up too. eBay's racist today.
Don't like Michiganders.
I guess not.
Yeah, mine's working fine. Amazon selling off merchandise to auction houses. Well, a lot of times what happens is I know that Amazon Returns goes to auctions, and then people buy it, then they turn around and they sell it. Because that's what a lot of my local auctions are right now, because we have an Amazon return warehouse here in Columbus, and so they pick up truckloads of stuff, and then they break it apart and they sell it. And I never buy anything from them unless it's a brand new in the package stuff, which you do get. You also get people that go through liquidation when they want to take stuff out of their store, and they don't want to pay the 50-cent return charge. And so they have Amazon liquidated. It's like 15 cents an item to liquidate it. Well, Amazon then turns around and just sells that stuff. They pull it out and they sell it at auction. Notifications over here. Yep.
Bye, Megan.
Have a good day, Megan.
TJ, you never said if you were near a border or not. I'm just curious. You don't tell me what town you're in. Just are you near one of the borders?
I think he said an hour and a half away.
Ooh, that sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't want to make that trip every day. But, yeah, I imagine eBay does play around with that list, but you know, not everybody's looking for iPhones and everything. I mean,
Right.
it's just a top trending by what people are searching for. And we could have fun. We could put out like an eBay search. Everybody on this day, everybody has to do 10 searches for this item to see if we can influence that list.
That's a good idea.
I'm just kind of contrarian that I am. I would like to do something like that just to mess with it.
Yeah.
New boxes. Would I ship everything in?
I
Pay 20 cents a piece for them. So
I got my light kit yesterday.
Ah, you have it set up already?
Well, I do, but I ran out of room.
Umbrellas take up a little bit of space.
Yeah, I got 3 umbrellas and then the backdrop stand also. So actually, I think I'm gonna have to move where I do my mannequin pictures. I'm gonna have to move that someplace where
Yeah.
it's gonna be a little bit larger area.
It's amazing when you make a decision to say, you know what, I'm going to step my game up and I'm going to get some professional lighting in here. How suddenly what you were working for will not even work at all. You have to kind of rethink the whole thing, which is why I switched my whole office around.
Right.
Because I used to use 2 different lighting areas. I had an old ratty table that I used to use that I covered up. I went out and I bought a nice table, so it's solid and it's easy to move around. It's one of those Life table. I can't remember the name of the brand. I got it at Walmart. Let me put it that way. So I paid $30 for it. But I consolidated my lighting areas, which opened up more space. I now work this way as opposed to this way, and this way. So now I've actually utilizing my space better. I can actually see all my back stock. And so it actually incentivizes me to keep listing that stuff. Whereas before I had it hidden behind my backdrop and I never really saw it. I mean, I walked around it a lot, but I didn't really see it.
Right.
So it kind of forces me to evaluate what I'm doing and how much stuff I'm listing and everything, and whether I'm buying or not, which I haven't bought anything in well, over a week. So that's like a record for me.
Yeah.
I do admit I went online shopping for auctions and there's some stuff coming up I'm interested in, but it's good stuff. That's why I gotta make sure I really want it. So I'm still shopping for home runs.
Right. And that's good. That's you gotta always have the eye out there shopping for stuff.
Yeah, you
For
gotta
the home
shop. You
run.
gotta shop for home runs. I mean, you don't have to shop for everyday stuff. I got lots of everyday stuff, but you don't need. I mean, you should always be out there looking for that $10 buy that's going to be $200 or $300. Because those are the things that bring your average up.
Right.
I can sell $10 stuff all day long, but that's going to bring my average sale down. I mean, I got to sell 10 items to make what I want to make. Whereas if I sell, yesterday I sold, turned the $20 into 200. I mean, that's a good hit for me. So
Right.
good hit for anybody. But yeah, I mean, so changing your whole how you do your business. Sometimes when you upgrade to one section of it, you got to change everything then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it's the same thing if you decided to go with a computer as opposed to listing on your phone. You've been listing on your phone, you've been successful at it. Now you go to a computer and a much nicer camera, and next thing you know, you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff because you decided to invest in your business.
Right.
So I said, you'll see. I mean, once you get it figured out, you get it set up, you'll probably be happier.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, you're doing the same thing I was doing. You were making your room work for you by
Right.
working around what you already had. But now, if you design your space for your work,
Right.
you're so much better off.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think everybody needs to really, if you're going to do this full time, now that you've been doing it for a while, think about how your office is set up. Was it originally set up as a place to pay bills, a place to get on the computer? Whatever, and then is it really set up for eBay correctly?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm thinking about putting it in a different room, but then again, I really don't want that, because I want to keep everything, but it would also, you know, make me move around a little bit more, so it could be a good thing, get me out of this room, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to kind of think about it for a little bit and see what I want to do.
Well, it opened my room up enough that I can start seeing different possibilities about my room down here.
Right.
Because the biggest issue I'm really having is where I keep my list inventory, which is in a separate bedroom that
Mm-hmm.
I've converted over to like a stock room. I
Right.
am running out of space because I have so much. I only have like 510 listings up, but like one of my listings is 170 hard drives.
Right.
And that takes up a lot of space. I have some quantity listings where I've got like 60 sets of Christmas lights.
Right.
That takes up a lot of space.
Mhm.
for one listing. So I got stuff like that in addition to I have clothing and all that. So I'm really running out of space in my listed inventory room. Because like I said, everything I have right down here, this is all listed. I just don't have any space for it. And I have to really start considering what am I going to do with the listed inventory.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of at a dilemma right now of where to put it all. And I want to keep it segregated. So I got to go through my room and I put shelves throughout the whole room, but I didn't put tall shelves on one side because I wanted the ability to stack boxes and totes and stuff. So I really need to think about how and I got a couple things in there that don't need to be in there. I've got a big trunk in there and I've got a table in there that aren't eBay. The trunk is my own personal stuff, but I don't really know what to do with it. It's an old steamer trunk that I keep family photos and stuff like that in. And then I have my daughter has an antique exam table in there for a doctor's exam table that she's keeping for her whenever she finally moves out and takes all her furniture with her. And I used to use it as a laundry folding table, and I really would like to use it back as a laundry folding table because I'm terrible at folding laundry. Um, so I need to get those out. Once I do get those out, that's going to create a whole lot more space in there for me. So I think I'm gonna force into going to do that next. And I use banker's boxes for most of my listed inventory because it stacks really nice. And you can I've got like 25 banker's boxes in there plus about 10 totes.
Yeah.
And I have some big items that are just sitting on the shelf. And I've got all my I've got just a ton of. I do have one wall that's unlisted, but it's there for a purpose. It's some of that auction stuff I bought with the lithographs and prints and stuff like that. So I do need to get that up and listed. But I put it in there because I wanted to make sure it would fit where I was going to put it, so that when I go back and list it, it's going to go right back to where it's at.
Right.
Tim asked, he said he collects prints and lithographs, signed paintings, signed, only ever sold locally. And if he sells on eBay, what's the best place to get large boxes for framed artwork? It all depends on the size, but you really can't go wrong with a UPS store. Boxes are expensive for stuff like that, so you got to kind of have to build that into your cost. U-Haul has great painting boxes. They come with reinforced corners, the whole 9 yards. I mean, that's good stuff there. That's the only problem you really have when you ship a lithograph or anything framed. It's expensive to ship. I mean, I sold a frame a minute ago, and it cost me $35 to get it a box. I actually had them box it for me because I'd never done a frame print. It was a couple years ago. I'd never sold a framed item before. If they're small enough, as in width-wise, don't worry too much about length, but if they're small enough width-wise, you can use priority boxes for that. You might have to telescope a couple of them. And you can buy I use the large flat ones. They're about, not large flat rate, but just the bigger flat ones. They're like 14 inches by almost 3 inches, and you've got enough room to slide a decent size. They're like almost 12 inches across, maybe even almost closer to 13. So you can put like a 12-inch framed item in there pretty easily with enough bubble wrap around it. But yeah, when you get down to it, if you're selling something that's actually worth a decent amount and it's framed, because if it's good framed, framing something is not cheap. So, take a painting and have it professionally framed, you're going to spend a couple $100. A poster or a nice lithograph, it could be $75 to $150 to get it framed. So that's something you're selling as well. If you're selling something that's professionally framed, people are buying that as well. They know the cost of framing. So you kind of have to look at stuff like that and go, okay, so build that into your cost of your item. Add $20 for a box. It's not going to cost you 20, but shipping is going to be more because you're paying that dimensional weighting because of the sizing and everything. But yeah, it sucks to ship framed items. But that is what it is. I shipped two 65-pound book presses. It sucked to ship those, but you got to figure out your shipping. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would do if I were you, Val. I would sit back and just kind of what I did for a week, I just sat back and I would just look at my room and say, okay, what do I really want to do? And I took a week before I made the move, and I made the move over about 5 days. Just moving my desk was such a major pain in the ass because my desk is huge. My desk is 90 inches by 45 inches. So it's a monster old post office desk, and it weighs a ton. But once I made the desk move, and then I started planning out each quadrant of the room, and I listed it's about a 14 by 14 room, maybe 14 by 12. So once I planned this room out, and I got everything the way I want it now, I'm pretty happy with the setup, and it's actually really opened things up, and I feel so much better when I'm listing in here now. I don't have the pressure of my stuff crawling on top of me. That is something that will stop me from listing dead every time. When I get a lot of stuff in and I'm going through and trying to set up my, what do I actually own? Is it worth listing? Things like that. When I'm done, if you go back and look at the video where I brought home all the bird stuff and everything and how much stuff I had, it took me 4 or 5 days to start listing again, just because I had to get it out of my sight. Because it's I feel that pressure. It's like, here, list me, list me, list me, and it drives me nuts, and it will freeze me up. It really messes with my head, so I can't do that. I need to have a little bit open space. And then I needed to change because I have a window before I had the window back here was right above my desk. Well, my house faces southwest, and about 5 o'clock, I'm getting a laser beam of light into my eyes, and I can't even see my screens. So I was like, man, this really sucks. I can't even list for part of the day.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to think about that. And it actually opened up my picture taking area to natural light too. So it kind of helps a little bit with that.
Yeah. Well, and actually that was just something that I was thinking about. And I may move because I have one room that has all of my inventory, my listed inventory. I may move those items out. So I'm still utilizing my house. I have a back porch that's closed in. There's no moisture or anything that gets in there, but I may have to move that stuff out. What I would really like is just a one room picture taking area.
Why don't you put your picture taking area out on the back porch? Do you have electric out there?
Yeah.
I would do that because you get natural light anyway. But even if you don't, nothing you're going to put out there is you have no real issues with any type of moisture because you're only going to go out there for a little bit. And it's a great staging area too because you could stack a few totes out there and then take your pictures, put it back in totes, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Could you put your washer and dryer on one wall?
No.
Is your washer and dryer out on your back porch?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have enough room to set your whole picture taking area up there?
I don't know.
That's why I was thinking if you had it on one wall, it'd be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I had my washer and dryer. Now I can, but I couldn't do that because the dryer vent was one side and the plug was there and the washer was on the other side. I was like, this is the stupidest setup in the world. But
right. I completely agree. But I think there's potential there.
Your backdrops are probably 5 by 7.
No.
Are they bigger?
Yeah. I think it's 7 foot.
7 foot long. Is it 7 foot long or 7 foot wide?
Yeah. I don't know.
But like most of them are usually 5 by 7 or 8 by 10, something along those lines.
Right.
Did you get the frame that you can flip your backdrop to?
Yeah.
So that's your maximum. That's the biggest piece you're going to have. And what I would do is if I could take my frame out there and set my frame up, you're in good shape. And then, so you could take your frame out. If you get the frame up, that means you get the backdrops up. And then if you have I have this 4-foot table right here that actually folds up. You have one of those, which is like $30 at Walmart. You can actually set that up and then put it down, and then you could actually use that also as your picture taking area for smalls. So, but the table can just go up and down, and you just lift the backdrop off and set it on top of the table and kind of let it kind of flow up like that. So that way all your picture taking now is in one area, not two.
Yeah.
If you do that, that's going to actually save you space, and then you can have more room Inside, you could even take your listed inventory and then just keep it there, and then like your room that you're listing in can just be your unlisted, and it flows into the next room. And then your light kit never moves. That's the nice thing, is your light kit
Right.
never moves. My light kit doesn't move. That's one of the reasons why I did this, is before I had to, if I wanted to do clothing, I had to actually I had to spin one of the boxes around and then bring the other box around front. And then I have a little light that I use for uplighting. It's just a little, see you, Sally. So by doing that, I get a little uplighting on it as well. But if you do that with your umbrellas, your stuff never moves.
Right.
And that's, once it's set, it's set. You don't have to mess with it. The only thing you might have to do is for clothing, you might bring them up, might bring them down for your smalls.
Right.
And if you have enough room to set 2 umbrellas up and still get your clothing and your mannequin in there, then the only thing you're moving out of the way is a table, and you're slide a mannequin in.
Yeah.
And if you get one of the fold-up tables, it'll fold up into a 2x2, thing. You just set off to the side, and the mannequin can. Because I have a mannequin, I got a full size, not a full. I have a dress form. And I have hanging mannequins. I hate the dress form. I bought it and I realized I hate it. And then I have the 2. I use the half mannequins. They work great. I would rather have full size ones that actually give a little bit more fullness, but I need light ones, and because I hang them, I just put a little eye hook in the ceiling.
Yeah.
So then they hang from that, but that's perfect for what I use it for anyway, because I don't do that much clothing. And I flat lay like all my pants and everything, so jeans. Right. But if you do something like that, then it's all self-contained into one area. So now you've taken it, where I had it was I had a 5-foot wide space that I had to keep open for clothing, and then I had a 4-foot wide space that I had to keep open for smalls, and now I've combined them into just one 5-foot really wide space, and that's it.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good. I might have to look into that and see.
Less complicated, and I have a foot switch for my lights.
A foot switch.
Yeah, it's you usually see it for Christmas trees.
Hmm.
Pull it out. You can buy them at Walmart. They're about $6. It looks like that. You step on it, and it turns the lights on. It plugs into your light kit.
Oh, I like that.
So I just keep it out of the way over there. Whenever I want to turn my lights on, I click, they're on. And I don't have to sit there and worry about flipping the switches on the back or anything like that.
Right.
Super easy to use. And it's an extension cord, so if you need more room, it'll actually be an extension cord for your lights as well. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely and some potential. So.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing. You start really thinking about what you're doing with your business when you go out, when you upgrade and do the next thing. I mean, when I decided to start carrying my own shipping boxes and everything, I had to really think about where the hell am I going to store my boxes.
Right.
And I happened to be online at an auction, and I saw an old child's school desk, and it's one of the metal ones. It has 2 spots for kids to sit next to each other, and there's a stack in between the 2 where you can stack your books, two separate openings. And I started looking at that, and like, you know what, that's kind of cool. I really like the desk.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it for like $1. So I brought it home, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this thing? And I thought, you know what, this might be good for boxes. And so what I did is I actually put that over there, and I have all my unopened boxes are in where the feet go. Then I put another wood shelf. I had bought some wood shelves that you could build, different sizes, different things. And I built up a 3-foot, or it's probably about 4-foot tall wood shelf with 3 shelves. And all my unopened boxes go there. And then I have my big boxes are next to it. So it kind of takes over one wall and underneath the window over there. So all my boxes and all that stuff is self-contained over in that corner there. And then my bubble wrap goes on I used to have one of those portable clothing racks that you buy at Walmart for like $12 that are crap.
Right.
What they're really good for is you put them down about halfway, and then you could slide your bubble wrap onto them, so you just sit there and keep your bubble wrap right off.
Oh, that's
and it's big enough, it'll hold 2 full rolls of bubble wrap. So I have my 1/2 inch and I have my 3/16 inch bubble wrap in there, and I can store extra bubble wrap underneath it or extra boxes for stability. So it's that type of those are the type of things that you can do to kind of really make your life easier. And the other reason I started using that for bubble wrap is because I bought it for clothing, and it was just such a pain in the ass to use for clothing. Fell over 4 or 5 times. It was just, I hated it.
Me too. I actually got rid of it because I was like, it's just trash to me. Can't use it.
Yeah. So I just decided to use it. I was like, what am I going to do with this thing? I was going to throw it away, and I'm like, you know what? maybe I can put bubble wrap on it, and it worked out perfect. It is the
Wow.
perfect height. It's the perfect size.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually going to put I use the craft paper on the big rolls, but you have to buy special rolls to use the size of the craft paper, and I don't use that as often as I use bubble wrap.
Right. Right.
So I'm like, yeah, what the heck? I'm just going to go ahead and get some of that and use it for that, and it turned out to work perfect. I said, I need a few sheets of bubble wrap. I can just go pull off, tear it off, and it's good to go.
Wow. Well, that's what I'll be working on today. Is I'm gonna try and get that set up, and I'll if I think about it, once I get it all done, I'll post a picture so y'all can see it. Maybe I'll do
I
a
mean,
before and after.
it's those little things that you can do to just to make your business easier.
Yeah, this is more efficient altogether.
And again, if you can do that, and I say again, making it more efficient, but also just making you feel better about where you're working at.
Right.
There's kind of a cave feeling to what we do sometimes. You got your crap stacked all around you. You haven't seen the sun in 4 days. Stuff like that can definitely get it. You're better off having a nice open workspace where it's not a big deal. You can slide your chair in and out, and kick back and relax. I mean, I can sit back and I can watch a movie or watch TV while I'm listening at the same time. I just pull up on the other computer. I mean, I have two computers on my desk, so because I have old computers and this one can't handle a hangout at the same time as doing other things. So, but you do stuff like that, it makes life easier.
Right.
I'm all for making life easier. It just sometimes you gotta really think about how you want to do your business and just look at your room. Is it set up for eBay?
Yeah.
Because mine was set up as an office because I ran it as my own home inspection business after I moved back to Ohio. And so I set my office up to be a home inspection office. So I had my armoire that I had all my home inspection forms in, and another area that I hung my shirts in, and all my tools, I vacuum pumps and different
Right.
electrical tools and stuff, just stuff for the business. And I set it up that way so that if I got a job, I just grabbed it and went, depending on the job I was doing. And it was,
Right.
I started doing eBay because, home inspection is a tough business to break into. And I was picking up work, but it wasn't going to pay the bills. I mean, I was making more on eBay doing eBay part-time than I was making a home inspection business. I said, hell with this. I'm not going to do that anymore because I had a corporation and costs with that, and errors and emissions insurance. And, it's an expensive business to get into. And if you're not getting, if you're not getting 3 or 4 jobs a week, I was getting 300 a job,
Yeah.
but you're not getting 3 or 4 of those a week, your cost of your business are going to really kill you.
Yeah.
And so I got out of that, went back to started doing eBay again, a lot more serious, and haven't looked back. But the room was still set up for that whole home inspection, so I had shelves on one side, shelves on the other side for stuff, and the big armoire, which wasn't doing any good. I'm like, I just need to get out of that part of the business and start doing eBay for serious. But it took me 2 years to make that goal.
Yeah.
That's right, Tim. You got to be a Browns fan.
But and that's the thing too, is you have to I've already been through the whole, what do you call it? Like, what am I trying to say? Storage units, and I've already done that. I don't want to do that. I don't even want to put stuff. I was thinking about putting stuff in the garage, my listed stuff, but I don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to put stuff in my bedroom. I want that to be
I have a
clear
little pile of
area.
stuff that's unlisted that's up in my living room, and mainly because I took it up there to evaluate it and it's never made it down, and I want to get it out of my living room because I'm trying to make my upstairs totally eBay free. It has nothing to do with what I do downstairs. So if I'm living upstairs,
Right.
then when I come downstairs, I come to work. And that's part of that mindset of getting yourself into, I'm at a job, I'm not just working out of my house. So, my dogs are upstairs, they stay upstairs, I don't bring them down. The cat, her litter box is down here, so I can't block her from coming down. But but she's cool anyway. My dogs would be like all over me all the time, so I can't do that. And they would lay, and they're big dogs. If they had a little tiny ass little, poo-poo dog, it'd be different. But I have monster dogs. But they're cool. They stay upstairs, they relax, they bark, and that's it. So, but yeah, if you can actually get a space that's your business space, it's a different mindset when you walk into business.
Right.
If you're going to do this, if you're going to be serious, if you're doing it part time or you're doing it just to make a little extra cash, you don't have to go to that extreme. If you want to do it full time, you got to really think about how you're setting yourself up. I mean, if I had a business at an office, which I would love to have a warehouse. I mean, I would love to have a separate hop in my car. I go to work every day. I take a lunch. I come home at 5 o'clock. Not everybody wants to do that. I'm very comfortable with that. That's what I used to do. I used to get up, go to work, worked in an office, different stores, things like that, did my thing and came home. I love that type of work.
Yeah.
And I would love to be able to, but there's a cost with that. And the minimum cost you're probably looking at is between $600 and $700.
Right.
I don't want to spend that money. I'm too cheap.
I understand.
So unless if my business doubled, I would probably do it. And if my business could double, if I did it that way, double-edged sword. You either got to double it at home or double it, take the risk, go out, get the office, and then now you're working to double it. And I don't know if I'm ready to make that commitment or not. The other problem is in the summertime, I'd have to have space for my son to come with me and everything. So yeah, if it's one of those things, I might try to work it in the next year or two as he gets a little older, so I can turn him into more of a latchkey kid where he comes home, comes in the house on his own, and I come home and I have security cameras in my house, so I could actually make sure he gets home all right, and then I could be at an office somewhere, and then I could be cool with that. I would be okay with something like that, but I got to wait for a few more years. He's only just turned 14 this year, and being autistic, he's not a true 14-year-old. He's more like an 11 or 12-year-old. So
Right.
I got a few more years for that. But if I get to that point, I would enjoy that, I think. But
Well, and I'm sure he would too, give him a little bit of freedom and,
well, he's really cool because he knows when I'm not here, I'm working. Now he knows he can come down and get me for anything,
Right.
but he tries not to. But I'm working this summer. We're going to be working on life skills, cooking and cleaning and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's at an age where he's starting to experiment with cooking, and I really wanted to get him to understand how to cook, how to microwave, so that he could actually make himself a lunch or make himself a hot dog dinner or a pizza dinner or something like that. I mean, I want to get him to that point. So, and again, independent living skills, that's one of those keys. And if you can do it when you're 13 or
Right.
14 and you get good at it by the time you're 16 or 17, by the time you get ready to move out, you're fine. There's too many people that move out when they're 18 years old that have no life skills whatsoever. So
So true.
it's just amazing to me when somebody says, well, I don't know how to cook. How can you not know how to cook? You don't have to. I mean, my God, in America we reheat more than we cook.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, but you got to know some basics. I mean, you have to. Otherwise, you're not going to survive. Or, as we were talking earlier, you're a fast food person, and fast food is the fastest way to kill a budget.
Oh yeah.
You go fast.
Oh.
We do fast food once a week. It's a
Mm-hmm.
planned meal. My son picks it. It's his meal. It's a Saturday night meal. He picks wherever he wants to go. I don't limit him on that. I don't care.
Right.
What costs whatever it costs. He picks the meal.
Right.
And he's good because sometimes he'll pick, Little Caesar's pizza, which are $5 a piece. But sometimes he wants to go to Chinese food, which is, $15 a piece. I
Right.
don't care. I mean, it's once a week. The only other time we get fast food is if we're out and I'm doing an auction, and the auction hits that dinner time, and my son is very regimented, and he wants dinner between 5 and 6, and there's no way for me to be at home. So then I'll grab some fast food. But that doesn't happen very often. Maybe once every couple of weeks.
Right.
Otherwise, I eat at home because I
Right.
can't afford to go out that much. It makes me fatter than I already am, and then it's just too damned expensive. I mean, you can't go to McDonald's now and spend $6 or $7. You have to spend $6 or $7 per person.
Yeah.
You have 2 or 3 people in your family. You're spending $20, $25 for a
Yep.
crappy meal.
Yep.
That $25 you could feed you for a week if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the way. I was in California. Either go to the grocery store every day and get what you're making for dinner, or you know, uh, go to fast food and grab something that's quick and easy. Um, But when I moved out here, you know, we had to schedule things, and basically we scheduled, you know, a grocery visit every 2 weeks, and
Oh yeah.
we didn't eat out. You know, we would probably eat out probably once a month.
See, I go to the grocery store. I go to the grocery store probably once a week, but I usually make one big trip at the beginning of the month, and then I supplement it with many trips throughout the day. So, and my big trip, I spend like $130. I go to
Right.
Aldi for most of my food.
Hmm.
And then what happens is like I'll go to like Kroger's or Walmart for other things that I can't get at Aldi's, or that I prefer a brand that they carry over Aldi's brand.
Hmm.
Like I went to Kroger's yesterday and I spent like $90. But I hadn't been to the grocery store in a week and a half, so I needed
Right.
some basics. I need bread, I need milk, cheese, things like that. But then I needed my coffee creamer. Got to have my Italian sweet cream coffee creamer. The one at Aldi's doesn't taste right to me, so I don't like their version.
Right.
Uh, so I mean, that's the type of stuff I'll do. Hey, he's back. He's back.
He's back.
So you know, you got to be cheap. I mean, that's how you can. I mean, I hate to say it, but money you don't spend is money you've made.
Right.
You know, if
Very true.
everybody's got their basic bills to pay. You got a basic mortgage or rent. You got light bill, water, gas, electric. I mean, however it all breaks down, trash, phone bills, internet bills, things like that. Everybody's got those.
Right.
So you minimize where you can, but you still got to pay those bills. But you don't have to. I mean, I don't have cable TV. I have an internet bill
Right.
because
Me
my
too.
cable TV was up to $170 a month, and I'm like, I don't watch TV. You know, I'm always down here. My dogs watch TV. I was
Right.
paying the $170 a month for my dogs to watch whatever's cool on TV. My son doesn't watch TV. He
Man,
watches YouTube. That's what he likes.
them some spoiled dogs.
They are spoiled. They
We,
sit around and watch TV all day long because it keeps them from barking like too much. But
Right.
you
so I'm
know, we
like,
were.
why
It's
do I
funny.
why am I paying them?
There was a big discussion about that yesterday with all the people sitting in the platelet chairs and the nurses and stuff were talking about that at the blood donor place. And you know, we cut the cord 4 years ago. And I don't, you know, at first it was like that feeling of panic. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? I don't miss it. We pay $12.99 a month for Hulu. Because you get or $11.99, you get the commercial free if you pay a couple bucks extra. And it's because there's some shows on there that I enjoy watching or whatever. Could I do without that and probably find those shows through some other illegal source that Eric uses, like Cody or whatever? Just kidding. Yeah, I probably could, but you know, you're talking about food and budgeting and things like that. I mean, we raised our kids on literally, like, I say rice and beans. I use that term because that's an old Dave Ramsey term.
Yeah,
You know, not
beans and
rice and
rice
beans,
and
but
vegetables.
a lot of chicken, a lot of rice, a lot of pasta, a lot of your basic staples that you can make if you're creative into 57 different dishes. Now, I
Yeah,
will tell you this: we don't eat out a ton as far as fast food. I had to run an errand just now, and Gabe messaged me and said, "Can you get food on the way back?" No, I'm not going to get food. You know what? There's food in the refrigerator. But we're a little different. When we eating out, and this is something Tristan and I were talking about a while back. You know, like we have a steak delivery place, and I can order steak delivery, and we can get a big old ribeye or steak tips, and it's going to be for 3 of us if Windsor's not there that night, which usually she's working. So, you know, it's going to be $50-$60 with a tip. That's not, for me, eating out and spending money is an experience. You're sitting down, like I went out to eat with Jim Bennett the other night while he was in town. I don't care. I didn't care what I spent because it was an experience. He and I sat there on the patio area and talked for 2 hours and had great, well, probably not 2 hours, but an hour and a half, and had great conversation. And for me, dining out is an experience, so I don't really care where we dine out or what we spend. We probably spend more money on the occasional occasions when we go out to eat, you know, and especially if it's our whole family, you know, getting together with the kids or when their boyfriend goes, we're going to laugh, we're going to become closer together. And so for me, you can't put a price on that. I would rather skimp on everywhere else we eat, you know, as far as like eating at the house, you know, eat on a budget and whatever. And I'd rather have that money. That, to me, that's a luxury that I set aside for. And I do, because dining out is an experience, if that makes sense.
It should be an experience. Like I said, that's why I let Luke pick his Saturday night deal, because he'll pick things that I don't necessarily like, or he'll go to a steak place. Hey, I want to try the steak place. I know he's going to get a burger, but he's trying the atmosphere out, and I'm fine with that. I really don't care. Like, so we go to a Chinese buffet. He loves the Chinese buffet. You know, last night I went to the grocery store yesterday, and we walk in, and it's a Kroger's, and it has a sushi bar in the Kroger's there, and they're really good. They've got somebody mans it all the time, and they're great for recommendations. And he walks up and says, "Hey, buddy, what do you want?" He's like, "You want some sushi for dinner tonight?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." I don't even pay attention to what it costs, because he doesn't really ask for stuff like that. It was like $9 for his dinner last night. Bought it.
He likes sushi. He doesn't have any problem with the texture on sushi.
Nope. Loves sushi. Even ate pickled ginger. He got a little container of pickled ginger. And I'm like, oh. Cool. Yeah. I can't stand sushi because I don't like the texture.
I love it. I don't like the texture of baked fish as much. I like the raw. I'm a texture person. So.
Yep. So yeah, but I don't care for. I mean, if he wants to do, but he's also the kind of guy that, hey, give me a 99-cent pizza for dinner and I'm happy.
Right.
So it all evens out. I mean, I've been at hangouts and he wants, hey, what do you want for lunch today, buddy? He's like, oh, give me a couple hot dogs. Cool. Yeah, if that's what you want, that's what you're feeling. But you know, like the other night, he says, I want to have sloppy Joe burritos. I'm like, okay, so I just make some sloppy joes and throw in some tortillas, and he was happy with that. And that's what I make, you know, because I use ground turkey, so it was like $2 for the pound of ground turkey. Get another $1 for the Joe mix, and that's $1 worth of tortillas and cheese. I mean, you know, that's a dinner for us. That's $5 for dinner for us, as opposed to going somewhere and spending $20.
See, Tristan and I used to take a lot of trips when the kids were younger. My parents were. At that time we had 3 full sets of grandparents and great grandparents. And of course, the kids are young, and they're like, "We want the kids," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." And we would take a lot of little trips. We would take a weekend away. I mean, there were times that we just went to a hotel across town, went and ate somewhere like Melting Pot, or ate somewhere really nice, spent a little money just to get away, refresh, you know, recharge our batteries, so to speak, you know, reconnect with each other, slow down, be out of the house. And one of our relatives said, one day, I can't remember, one of the grandparents, like, you sure do take an awful lot of trips. And I said, you know what? It's what works for us. We would rather stay at home. We would rather stay at home and be at home nonstop and save up and take these little occasional weekend trips to Nashville, or day trips, you know, overnight trips to go somewhere or go do something. We saved up more. I don't know how to explain. We saved up more for the small outings and experiences that brought us closer together, you know, and to take a break from the daily grind of life. That was something that was always real important to us. And a lot of times we did include the kids too. I mean, there'd be, you know, weekend trips to Chattanooga or whatever. People are like, why are you going to Chattanooga? You know what? Because the kids remember that. That's what part of what, when I look at my kids now, our kids now, when I look at our kids, it's part of what formed them and made them the way they are now, that they're well-rounded. They're not afraid to travel. They're not afraid to try new things, because they grew up doing stuff like that, getting out and doing things. And it's one of the reasons we decided to homeschool, because it allowed more flexibility to get out and not have them be sheltered and explore the world and go places and do things. You know, like the plane trip that I took with Windsor the other day. You know, yeah, it was $75 for that plane, but I mean, can you really put a price on that? She is going to talk about that and remember that for the rest of her life. And now she's not going to be scared of planes.
Yeah.
You know, Windsor has some social anxiety that she's dealt with over the last couple of years. Not as much anxiety over airplanes and stuff like that, but you know what? If that helped her anxiety, that was cheaper than a therapist, you know? I mean, it's little things like that. And I don't look at the price tag, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody said, wow, we go at $75 a person to go up in that plane, where it's going to be $150 tax. And I'm like, who cares? Who really, in the grand scheme of things, I'll not eat out a couple of times or whatever. That's what I have to do if $150 is going to, break the bank.
Yeah. Gotta put my $5 rebate check in the bank. Yep, it's those little things that you can do. Like I said, with your business, it's part of your business model. I mean, you're selling on eBay, you're trying to make it full time. Look at your expenses.
Yeah.
The less money you lay out, that means the less money you got to make. So I mean, that way, when you think about doing this business full time, you got to really, it's an expense. It's like every other thing. Your taxes, your health insurance, all that stuff kicks in. You got to figure out how to get that and how to get it cheap and how to roll it all in so that you know exactly what you need to do to make this full time.
Well, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for the day. Everybody has a great day, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Peace.
Bye.